So there's a man pointing at me like I'm a stain on his boot. And from where he's standing, honestly, I probably am. Ling Jian, trespasser. Thief, disgrace to the forbidden sect. Second Elder Y Tang lets each word drop like he spent all week polishing it. He did. Expel him today. I'm on my knees on cold stone. Grand Hall. 2,000 disciples packed into the tiers, all of them staring down at me, and I'd love to tell you my knees are shaking with fear. They are not. I'm doing math. Here's the grudge, so you're caught up. 2 years ago, I borrowed one of the old goat's 100-year spirit herbs to season a roast pheasant. Borrowed is generous. I ate it. Worth every bite. Would do it again tonight. And Y Tang has been sitting on that insult ever since, aging it like wine, waiting for a morning exactly like this one. A morning when my master isn't on the mountain to stand between his little thief and the door. Up on the high seat, Sect Master Gao Lai strokes his beard. It's the thing sect masters do when they don't want to decide anything. Talk slowly, say nothing. Ling Jian is the personal disciple of the third elder, he says. We cannot simply. The third elder isn't here. Y Tang smiles, not a nice smile. He vanishes for months and leaves this stray to rob honest gardens. He isn't here to protect his thief today. He spreads his arms to the crowd, playing to the cheap seats. So who will? Who in this hall stands up for Ling Jian? Silence. 2,000 people. Not one of them breathes in my direction. And right on cue, a soft chime hums in the back of my skull. Protective value gained. Current total 25,000. Ah, there it is. Let me back up one sentence because you need the strangest thing about me. When somebody stands up to protect me, an elder blocks a blow, my master shields me. A stranger decides I'm worth defending, my system pays me for it. Protective value, points. And in the little shop inside my head, points buy anything at all. Lifespan, realms. Bodies, anything. The catch is delicious. I don't earn it by being strong. I earn it by being protected. Which means the smartest thing a lazy man in my position can possibly do is get into so much trouble that people keep leaping in front of him. And I am a very, very lazy man. Nobody will protect him, Y Tang announces. He's delighted. Practically glowing. You see, Sect Master, not a soul. Actually, I say, still on my knees, still calm. I was hoping you'd keep talking. Every insult builds my confidence. Don't stop on my account. The hall goes quiet in a different way. Y Tang's eye twitches. Here's what he doesn't know, what nobody under this roof knows. For the last 2.5 years, while everyone assumed I was napping on my abandoned little peak, I learned every single taboo ultimate skill in the forbidden sect. All 1,000 of them. My master left the whole library locked in the forbidden land, and I read it like a picture book. Because when the heavens rebuilt me in this body, they forgot to install a difficulty setting. Whatever I look at, I understand. Instantly, completely. There's just one small problem, and it's the reason I'm still on my knees instead of walking out over the second elder's unconscious body. Every one of those 1,000 skills eats lifespan when I use it. And learning all of them back to back, no rest, cost me nearly everything I had. Right now, if I could read the ledger of my own life, it would say 2 years, 6 months, remaining. I'm 20 years old and I'm running out of clock. Enough talk. Y Tang raises a hand, spirit light gathers around it. And the crowd leans in because they can all see he's not talking about expulsion anymore. If no one will speak for the thief, I'll carry out sentence myself, right here. Spare the sect the paperwork. The mountain moves, not shakes, moves. The whole peak leans like the sky reached down and set one finger on the world to see if it would break. 2,000 disciples hit the floor at once, foreheads to stone. Because there's a pressure in the air now, and it says one thing very simply, kneel or die. Their bodies vote kneel before their minds get a turn. Y Tang is on his knees too. Shaking, his raised hand frozen halfway to me, and he can't move it an inch. And on his face, under the terror, is the exact expression of a man who just realized he picked the wrong morning to settle an old score. A lazy voice drifts in from the doorway. Sounds like it just woke from a nap and is annoyed about it. Somebody, my master says, was about to hurt my disciple. Emperor Mo Xuan walks into the hall. He looks like a beggar who lost a fight with a haystack. Robe half open, hair a catastrophe, one sandal a step from falling off. He also apparently broke through to Great Emperor sometime in the last 3 months, and the whole hall can feel it, which is why the sect master himself has half risen from his seat, and the 8 Grand Elders have all discovered something fascinating about the floor. Protective value plus 10,000. Thank you, Master, right on time, as always. Third Elder. Wai Tang grinds it out through his teeth, still pinned flat. You've returned? I have. Mo Xuan strolls past him, and then, without breaking stride, without even really looking, he backhands the second elder across the face. Not a killing blow, the kind of slap you give a melon to check if it's ripe. Wai Tang flips twice and skids into a pillar with a fresh black eye and a dazed expression. That's for touching my kid. He reaches me. The terrible pressure lifts off my shoulders like a coat taken by a servant. He looks down, and the beggar face is gone. Just for a second, there's something in his eyes I've only ever seen from one person across both my lives. The look of somebody who's decided you belong to them. You're too thin, he says. Have you been eating? And that right there is why I'd burn 1,000 years of my life for this old man without blinking. He's not my blood. He found me in a butchered village down in the lower realm, a child alone in the wreckage, and he decided, all on his own, for no reason at all, that I was his. Everyone in this sect thinks he's a lazy drunk who vanishes for months. Only I know he vanishes because he's out in poisoned wastelands, on his hands and knees, digging for herbs that might buy his dying disciple another season. Master, I grin up at him. Your timing is disgusting. I almost had this handled. Sure you did. He hauls me up by the collar like a kitten. Then he lifts his voice so the whole hall hears it. The old ancestor has already ruled. My disciple is pardoned. Anyone with a problem can bring it to me. In the ring, in the dark. At the bottom of a well, wherever's convenient. He glances back at the pillar. And old Y, I'll pay for your herb. Send me the bill, I'll lose it. The hall doesn't laugh. You don't laugh at an emperor. But 2,000 disciples are all wearing the exact face of people trying very hard not to. And it's the most alive that Dusty Room has felt in years. I should have known the piece wouldn't survive till lunch. It doesn't even survive the front gate. The next morning, a warship the color of a house fire parks over our mountain. Crimson Flame Valley has come to visit. They don't send a letter. They send an ancient saint named Wen Kai, and behind him walks a boy about my age, wrapped in so much heat the air ripples around him like a road in summer. His name sits on the prodigy ranking of the entire 3,000 great worlds, the list of the 200 strongest young monsters alive. Gao Lai. Yes, that's a real list. No, my name is not on it, yet. Wen Kai addresses the sect from the deck of his burning ship, loud so the whole mountain hears. We came to challenge Lai Zion, one of our sequence disciples, the good ones, the famous ones, but I hear he's in seclusion. What a pity. His smile says it's no pity at all. It's the whole plan. Then we'll simply take turns with whoever the forbidden sect can offer. Just to measure the gap between our young generations. To humiliate us, on our own mountain, in front of our own disciples. Gao Lai steps into the arena and starts breaking people. Core disciples, the pride of the outer sect, boys who train dark to dark. And he goes through them like a man opening letters. One shatters a spear and the arm behind it, 2. Puts a boy through the arena wall, 3. And he doesn't kill them, which is somehow worse. He leaves them alive and broken on the sand so they can lie there and feel the whole sect watching. The elders' faces are stone. Nobody strong enough is awake to answer. And I'm at the back, arms folded, thinking one simple, profitable thought. An ancient saint brought a ranked prodigy to my mountain to slap my family around, in front of them. If I hurt that prodigy, really hurt him, then Wen Kai has to step in to save his prize. My elders have to step in to stop Wen Kai. My master has to step in to protect me, and every one of those brave, selfless interventions has a price tag. Every price gets paid straight into my account. They think they came here to humiliate the forbidden sect. They came here to fund my retirement. I'll go, I say, and I walk down onto the sand. The laughter starts before my feet touch it. I don't mind. I've noticed a thing about laughter. The louder it is at the start, the quieter the ending gets. I open the system while I walk, just to window shop. Cultivation, beginningless realm. Lifespan, 2 years, 6 months. And at the very top of the store, glowing like a prize behind glass I can't afford, sits the only thing I actually want in either of my lives. The longevity body, 2 million protective value, endless years. An immortal frame, A soul nothing can crack, and every taboo skill I own suddenly free forever. I have 35,000. Kun way to go, better start earning. You! Gao Lai looks me over the way you look at something you're about to scrape off your shoe. You're not even ranked, you came down here at beginningless. Do you know what I am, trash? I could sneeze and end you. Probably, I agree. Go on then, sneeze. He obliges, the blazing flame holy body flares, the whole arena goes orange. And he lunges, a spear thrust wrapped in enough heat to boil a lake, aimed dead center of my chest. The kind of strike that turns a beginningless nobody into a smear and a smell. And up on the peak, something happens I don't even see until it's done. Because Elder Wai Tang, Black Eye and all, the man who wanted me expelled an hour ago, has quietly torn his own sacred life grass out of the earth. 100-year spirit plant, the pride of his garden, the exact kind of thing I once ate on a pheasant. And he crushes it and pours the raw vitality straight into my chest. A century of a plant's soul poured into a dying boy. And I hear him, up on the peak, roar in grief for his ruined herb even as he does it. My lifespan ledger rolls over, 2.5 years becomes 1,000. Don't hold back. He isn't looking at me. His cheeks are wet and he's furious about it. And you still owe me for the pheasant. Ask your master. I'm not going to lie to you. That's the exact moment I decide these people are mine, and I'll set fire to anyone who touches them. So I don't hold back. I spend everything. 35,000 protective value, gone in a single breath. And my body climbs 5 minor realms between one heartbeat and the next, up to beginningless peak, and I feel the whole shape of the world change around me. The gap he was so sure of slams shut on his fingers. His spear reaches the spot where my chest was. My chest is not there anymore. I've stepped inside the thrust. Close enough to smell the smoke on him. His eyes go wide because a beginningless boy is not supposed to be able to do that, and the laughter dies in 2,000 throats at once. Warned you, I tell him. Then I show him 3 of my 1,000 skills, one after another. So he understands exactly what he walked onto this sand to fight. Blood-red pagoda finger, one flick. The spear he so proud of folds in half like wet paper, the screaming heat guttering out. He stares at the ruined weapon. Then he snarls and comes at me barehanded, holy body blazing hotter, because a crimson flame prodigy would rather burn than kneel. 9 netherworld cold bone finger. I touch his wrist. Almost gently, and I put frost into a boy made of fire. He didn't think that was possible. Nobody did. His face says so, cracked white across the cheekbones. And then I step in close, and I look him in the eyes, and I open the last one. The ugly one. The one I save for people who come to my home to make my family kneel on their own sand. Soul-devouring evil God's eye. It doesn't burn him, it doesn't cut him. It just starts very quietly to eat. Gao Lai stops screaming about fire. He starts screaming about something much further down, something no pill and no bandage will ever reach. And up on the warship, when Kai goes white and blurs down into the arena to save his prize. He's too late, and worse, he's an ancient saint, and even an ancient saint cannot reach into the dark and pull a devoured soul back out. He tries, his hands shake. He tries again. Nothing. The ranked monster who was breaking my brothers 10 minutes ago is a hollow thing now, and it will spend the rest of its long life staring at a wall. You! When Kai's voice is a whisper with a knife in it. You little, careful, my master calls it down from the peak, cheerful, leaning on the rail like a man watching a puppet show. Finish that sentence, rude, and we'll have a problem. He clicks his tongue. You brought a knife into my house, Wen Kai, and you're upset it got taken away. Go home. Tell your old ancestor I said hello. Tell him to come himself next time so I have someone my own size to hit. When Kai leaves, he gathers his ruined prodigy up in both arms, and on the way out he swears the old ancestor of Crimson Flame Valley will come, that this isn't finished. That I've made an enemy I cannot possibly afford. I nod along, very politely, enemy I can't afford, sure. He doesn't understand yet. None of them do, not for a long time. Every enemy who comes to kill me drags elders along to protect him. Every elder I frighten makes mine step forward, and every step forward pays. They keep thinking they're hunting me. They are my income. That night the sky over the 3,000 great worlds rewrites itself. There's a ranking up there, you understand. A wall of golden names hanging in the heavens where everyone alive can read it. The 200 strongest young monsters in creation. It keeps its own count, and tonight in front of billions of watching eyes the name Gao Lai flickers, dims, scrubs itself out, and in its place a name nobody has ever heard of burns its way into the gold. Forbidden sect, Ling Jian. In 100 palaces across 100 worlds, powerful old men lean toward the sky and squint and ask each other the same question. Who? Turns out each taboo skill only costs me about 100 years of life these days. Not the thousands it used to. My foundation's grown thicker under it. So after last night's little show, I'm sitting at a comfortable 1150 years on the clock. I celebrate the milestone the way any responsible young master would. I go back to sleep. I'm woken by a second warship. This one doesn't come to fight. It comes to shop. An ancient saint of the pill sect, a mild old fellow named Manhua, steps off it with a smile and a box of lifespan pills held out like a peace offering, which endears him to me instantly, because a man who opens with free medicine is a man I can do business with. But the pills are just the wrapping. The real gift is the news, and he unwraps it in front of the whole hall. A secret realm has been born. The room goes still. In the northern plains, it belonged to a fallen old ancestor of my pill sect, a great emperor who created 2 imperial-grade pill formulas before he died, and carried them into the grave with him. That grave just opened its door. He spreads his hands. We'd very much like our formulas back. Then he names the reward, and half my elders forget to breathe. 16 saint-grade pills and 1 imperial-grade pill. The kind of prize powers burn each other down over. There's a catch. It's the pill sect's problem, not mine. Only saint-level cultivators can even approach the realm. But only the young ones, the prodigies, can walk inside and take the prize. And every prodigy my sect owns is buried in seclusion, deaf to the world, sharpening themselves for a coming prodigy war. Every prodigy except one. Slowly, one at a time, every elder in the hall turns and looks at me. I spend that night alone on my peak. Nyingxia Peak, they call it. The one they handed the master's useless disciple so he'd be out from underfoot. I like it. It's quiet, and nobody climbs it, and the stars are honest. I sit on the roof, and I open the system, and I look, for the 1000th time, at the price of the only thing I want. The longevity body. 2 million protective value, endless life, an unbreakable frame. A soul nothing can devour, and every one of my 3000 skills suddenly free forever. No more counting my years like a beggar counts coins in the dark. No more my master out in the poison wastes on his knees, digging to buy me one more season. 2 million. And after the Gao Lai business, I've clawed my way all the way back up to a mighty 35,000. I sit with that gap a while. 2 million, I work out, is roughly my master defending me 200 times, or 200 fools coming to kill me and forcing him to. I stare at the number the way a poor man stares at a mountain of gold behind glass. Then I close the shop, and I go find my master, and I tell him I'm taking the Northern Plains job, and I beg him to come with me. He agrees to come. Then, being my master, he promptly vanishes again before we leave. I don't worry. I know what vanishing means with him. It means that somewhere out past the edge of the map, a very lazy emperor is on his hands and knees in poisoned mud, digging for a herb that might buy me a few more years, and would sooner die than say so out loud. Meanwhile, across the world, behind a stone gate in the dark, crimson flame valley reloads. Their old ancestor sits with the hollow shell of Gao Lai, and with a power my devouring never touched, he drags 80% of the ruined soul back into the light. Then he presses an emperor-grade combat art into the boy's hands and gives one instruction. Find Ling Jian, kill him, good. Send him along. I've got an opening in my calendar and a blank line in my ledger with his name on it. So we leave for the Northern Plains without my master, which means my chaperones are Second Elder Wai Tang, yes, the black eye, the murdered herb, the sharp tongue, all of it, and Fourth Elder Su Lei. A man so quiet, so forgettable that I'm going to spend most of this story forgetting he exists. Remember him anyway. I didn't. And it turns out to be both extremely funny and extremely important. On the month-long voyage I get bored, so I crack the 4th level of my cultivation technique. It's called the Forbidden Chaos Technique, and its whole trick is that it crushes and stacks spirit energy into a foundation with no floor. Which is exactly why it pairs so beautifully with 1,000 starving skills. They can drink from it forever and never touch bottom. The 2 elders take one look at my bottomless, hungry foundation and decide to fill it. They pour over 1,000,000 spirit stones down my throat, a small fortune, and I break clean through to the divine soul realm. Don't get used to being fed. Wai Tang sweeps a mountain of drained spirit stone dust off the deck, grumbling, and you'll pay back every stone. Ask your master. That's 2 debts now, I say. The pheasant and the stones. 3, you still haven't apologized for the pheasant. I'm never going to apologize for the pheasant. I know, he almost smiles. He hates that he almost smiles. He goes back to sweeping. And I watch an old man who wanted me thrown off a mountain 3 weeks ago sweep the deck of a ship he boarded to keep me alive. I don't say anything. Some things you just file away where they'll keep. We reach the northern plains at the same time as everyone worth naming. 20 of the great powers have come for those formulas. Imperial clans. Ancient families. The whole guest list of people who will eventually want me dead. And waiting at the gate of the secret realm, arms folded, is the pill sect itself. Led by a mild old man named Alchemist Emperor Ren. He's a hidden great emperor. I can tell because when his eyes pass over me, they find nothing at all. My system hides my measure from anyone who tries to take it. So I watch an emperor blink, look again, come up empty a second time, and decide he must be tired. It's the funniest thing I'll see all week. Behind him stands the pill sect's own lone prodigy, a serious young man with a cauldron on his back and a chip on his shoulder about the size of the cauldron. Ranked 151st, refined flame disciple. You're the one leading us in. He looks me up and down, clearly finds the arithmetic insulting. An unranked nobody carries our sect's formulas out. No, he steps forward. If you want a lead, earn it. Fight me, I sigh. I really do have to fight everyone I meet, don't I? Do we have to? I just got off a boat. Yes. Fine, I roll my shoulders. For the record, you started it. He's good. I'll give him that up front. He whips up a whole forest of wood spirit vines, roots tearing out of the stone. Then he draws a sword and cuts loose with something that has a genuinely grand name. The sword of Senluo overturns. A wave of gray killing intent that folds the light in front of it. It's a fine attack. The best a 151st ranked prodigy has, and he throws it with everything he owns. And it does not matter even slightly, because fine attacks die the way all fine attacks die, when they run headfirst into a man carrying 1,000 of them. I answer with exactly one skill. Eternal sky-slaying sword. It's old. One of my old ancestors used it 10,000 years ago to do something to the sky that people still tell campfire stories about. And when it lands, it doesn't just break refined flame disciple's sword. It breaks his whole idea of where the ceiling of the world was. The gray wave comes apart like fog in a wind. He staggers, and the follow-through keeps going straight for him, and Ren has to actually move a great emperor, moving to catch at a hair from his prodigy's chest. Here's what I like about refined flame disciple, and it's the whole reason he ends up mattering to this story. A lesser man makes excuses. He looks at the shattered ruin of his best move, goes very quiet. And then he bows. I concede. A pause, and I was wrong about you. A longer pause, almost to himself, staring at the broken sword. How do you already have a skill like that? You're my age. Talent, I tell him, and a complete absence of any self-preservation instinct whatsoever. He laughs. It surprises him, the first real laugh I've gotten out of him, and from that moment he's mine. Not a servant, not a follower. One of those rare people you meet exactly once in a life and know instantly in your bones that you'll be robbing graves and starting wars beside them until one of you dies. It cost me 100 years of my own lifespan to make that skill and that friend. And Ren, still utterly convinced I'm some delicate little genius, quietly presses a pill into my hand to put the 100 years right back. I pocket it and grin at my new brother. Come on, there's a dead emperor's treasure in there and about 20 families who think it's got their name on it. The gate sits at the top of Liu Ocean mountain stream. And by the time we climb to it, so has everyone. A whole sky of warships, a whole field of prodigies, and Wen Kai, who has not forgotten about his hollowed-out prize, he tries a sneak attack before we're even off the ship. One clean, quiet strike, the kind that leaves a corpse and an apology. Wai Tang and Su Lei block it without spilling their tea. And for about 10 heartbeats, the whole mountain teeters on the lip of an ancient Saint War, until the neutral powers wade in and cool everyone down with the sweaty, panicked energy of dinner guests who have realized the hosts might actually kill each other. Wen Kai backs off, but I catch the look he trades with 2 crimson flame prodigies, a boy named Wu Jing and one named Kui Gao, and I read their whole plan off their faces. Kill Ling Jian inside the realm, where no elder can reach. Gao Lai stands behind them, staring at me with his 80% restored soul and his 100% grudge. I give all three of them a cheerful, unhurried middle finger, set the mood early. Saves time later. Then the gate opens and hauls us all in. And the moment we land, it scatters everyone across the realm like a fistful of thrown dice. I keep 6 of my core disciples close, and we get to work. And I'll be honest, the next stretch is less a battle than a shopping trip with occasional homicide. We find a spirit soil herb field and strip it clean. A young sect master named Chen Yuan, Tianmen sect, ranked, arrogant, the sort of boy who's never once heard the word no, decides my haul looks better in his ring than mine. So I introduce him to God-killing heavenly poison, makes no sound, leaves no mark. Just quietly turns him into a puddle on the grass. My name climbs to 118th on the golden wall. Somewhere outside, his father howls for an explanation, and Wai Tang mocks the man back down his own throat. That's the rhythm of the place. Loot, threat, corpse, climb the wall. Loot again, and then I trip over a fight that isn't about me at all, and I stop. A girl is losing. Badly. Mei Ling of Yun Miao Holy Land, ranked 125th, and I know exactly one thing about her that matters. My senior brother Lai Zion is quietly, hopelessly, sect gossip level in love with her. She's cornered by a linking prodigy named Zhu Jai over a flower. A heaven-grade soul-nourishing flower, the kind that mends a cracked soul, and she's already hurt, and she's about to die for it. And Lai Zion is 1,000 miles away with no idea. So I teleport in, pluck the flower out of the air between them, and open Zhu Jai up with a bloodthirsty sword slaughter before he's finished being surprised at the new arrival. Then I turn to the girl who is my senior brother's entire heart, and I hold out the flower she was dying for. She stares at me like I've grown a second head. Nobody in this realm gives anything back. Why? Because a friend of mine is going to be very upset if you die, I tell her, and I hate paperwork, trade you. This flower for one of your breakthrough pills. Fair. She gives me the pill. I give her the flower. She lives. And one day my senior brother is going to owe me for the rest of his life and never once know it, which is my single favorite kind of debt. My name climbs to 123rd. I take the breakthrough pill she gave me and step up to the divine soul realm's 4th level. And it turns out I'm going to need that step in about an hour. Because deep inside, the fallen pill emperor's real legacy finally wakes up. And it doesn't choose me. It chooses refined flame disciple, hands him a burning flame cauldron, an emperor weapon, and the whole inheritance of a dead god of alchemy. My brother goes very still holding it, the way you go still holding the one thing you've wanted your entire life. Good for him. He earned it by losing to me gracefully, which is the noblest way anyone's ever earned anything. There's exactly one man in the crowd around that legacy who doesn't kneel to its pressure. Young, arrogant, wrapped in an imperial aura that I notice because noticing is my whole job is not his own. Somebody lent it to him. His name is Zhao Jin, a grandson of the demon-suppressing emperor of the ancient Zhao family. I file him under problems for later. Later turns out to be very soon, because in the depths the trap I've been walking toward all day finally springs, every enemy at once. The Crimson Flame Trio, 2 linking prodigies, Peng Fei and He Yang, and Zhao Jin with his borrowed emperor's breath. They herded me here the whole time. Patient as wolves, cute. I teleport behind Gao Lai first, because I never did finish that conversation. And a calamity poison finger finishes it for me, rots him where he stands, restored soul and all, and this time nobody's coming to scoop him up. Then I feint a heart-devouring purple poison palm across the whole crowd and wipe a dozen enemy disciples in one breath while they all flinch at the wrong thing. To face the 4 prodigies still standing, I spend 10,000 protective value and climb, mid-fight, into the primordial realm. Beside me, refined flame disciple roars and breaks through 2, cauldron blazing white. It almost works. Peng Fei and Wu Jing gang me low, tie up my hands, and Zhao Jin, who's been waiting for exactly this, drops the borrowed emperor's art straight down on my head. Feudo Mayo Wo, a guardian of divine flame the size of a mountain, all of it. At once, the blast makes a mushroom cloud you can see from the far side of the realm. When it clears, there's a crater where I was standing. And no Ling Jian in it. Outside, on the golden wall, my name gutters like a candle in a draught. My enemies celebrate. And far off, a heavenly mystery pavilion prodigy named Shen Wu, who has been watching me all day, the way a gambler watches a wheel he suspects is rigged, narrows his eyes. Because he doesn't believe it for a second. He's right not to. I'm not dead. I'm just very, very good at looking dead. I slid out sideways through a taboo the instant the mountain came down. And now I come back the way I like best. From behind, while they gloat, Peng Fei and Wu Jing are still admiring my crater when I open a bloodthirsty, devouring heaven wormhole under their feet. A churning wormhole that folds them up and swallows them whole. 2 more ranked prodigies. Gone, no bodies left, no witnesses but the sky. Then I take Xiao Jin. Time-space dislocation puts me inside his guard before he's finished turning around, and I don't kill him. I take his cultivation apart, unravel it thread by patient thread, and I leave the grandson of an emperor kneeling in the dirt as a cripple. He begs. It's undignified. I let him keep at it a while because I want the recording. And because a man who came here on a borrowed emperor's strength should get to hear how his own voice sounds when the loan comes due. That's the moment the loan comes due. Xiao Jin bares his teeth and triggers a life-saving imprint his grandfather sealed inside him. And the phantom of the demon-suppressing emperor tears up out of the realm, an ancient horror of a thing, and its hand closes around me like the sky deciding to make a fist. For 1 full second I think, well, that's the run. Then something erupts out of my own chest. My master left a piece of himself inside me too. Of course he did. The phantom of Mo Xuan rises up out of me, lazy even in miniature, and it shatters the demon-suppressing emperor's ghost like a man swatting a fly he was only mildly annoyed by. The pressure vanishes. I breathe. And I finish Xiao Jin, really finish him this time, and take his storage ring, which is heavy and interesting, and I'll get to it later. The secret realm is collapsing now, the whole dead emperor's grave folding in on itself, and my master's phantom scoops me up on the way out and carries me clear, like a cat carrying a kitten by the scruff. I've killed a young sect master, prodigies of 3 great powers, and crippled then killed a grandson of one of the oldest imperial families in existence. My name is a scar on the golden wall. And somewhere across the world, an ancient family is looking at the pieces of its grandson and deciding what to do about the boy who made them. Let them decide. Every decision they make ends the same way. Somebody comes for me. Somebody has to protect me, and I get paid. I come out of the collapsing realm into the worst possible weather, which is 4 furious ancient saints standing in a ring around my 2 elders. Land King of Linking lost prodigies in there. Wen Kai of Crimson Flame lost his whole revenge plot. They're done being polite. 4 saints close on Wai Tang and Su Lei at once, and my 2 chaperones set their feet to die in place rather than let anyone touch me. And I feel the system tick up, and up, and up, and I think, distantly, that this is a very expensive way to make a living. Then the mild old man from the gate stops being mild. Alchemist Emperor Ren steps out of the crowd and drops the disguise. And suddenly, there's a great emperor standing between me and the knives, and the 4 saints stop like they walked into a wall of glass. I have just long enough to think saved before the ground opens a different way, because Linking brought a hidden card too. Their old ancestor, a great emperor named Beikong. He uncoils out of nowhere and reaches for me with an aura that isn't trying to kill me at all. It's worse than that. It says, I'm going to lock you in a hole for 300 years, boy, and let you think about what you did. And here's the thing not one of them understands, standing in that ring. They keep bringing bigger and bigger fists to hit a boy whose entire cheat is being worth protecting. Every fist raises my price. Get your hand, says a lazy voice out of the sky, off my kid. Mo Xuan arrives like a dropped anvil, and what happens next has never once happened for a disciple like me. I want you to sit with it. My master starts a war between great emperors. Over one person, over me. 3 emperors in one sky now, Ren pinning the saints, Beikong and Mo Xuan tearing at each other beyond the very edge of the world. Whole mountain ranges flatten under the runoff. Billions of miles of empty land turn to glass and ash, because 2 old men are arguing about whether they get to touch me. Down in the forbidden land, far away, 2 more figures watch it in a scrying pool. One is a refined old scholar named Gu Tao. One is a filthy beggar named Wen. And it's the beggar who says, chuckling into his sleeve, the sentence that quietly reorganizes my entire understanding of the family that raised me. The boy learned the 1,000 taboo skills in 2.5 years. A pause, a wet little laugh. Should we tell him there are 3,000? 3,000. Not one, the thing I bled my life away to master, the achievement I nearly died for, is a third of the real book. But that's not the part that lodges in me. The part that lodges is the picture up in the sky. My master, willing to set the world on fire to keep me out of a cage. And down in the marrow of me, in the place that still remembers a butchered village and a rough hand reaching into the wreckage to pull out a stranger's child, I think one plain, unglamorous thought. I want to be a man like that. Protective value, 145,000. Mokshuan wins, of course he wins. Beikong flees the field with one arm severed and left behind on it. A great emperor, running, missing an arm, and my master lands on the mountaintop, straightens his ruined robe and manages to look smug enough to punch. Then he tells me why he skipped the secret realm. Why he vanished. He wasn't napping. He was out in the poison wastes on his knees the whole time, digging lifespan herbs out of ground that kills what it touches. Because his disciple was down to 2.5 years, and he could not stand it. Ren's going to refine those herbs into Saint Longevity pills that stack. Real years, no ceiling. He says it like it's nothing. Like it's an errand he ran. I don't say anything, because if I open my mouth right now, something embarrassing is going to come out. So I just carry the herbs down the mountain for him, and I let him think I didn't notice his hands were still bleeding. The whole road home, that heavenly mystery prodigy keeps orbiting me. Shen Wu. He wants me as his battle protector for a coming selection, and he dangles the future in front of me like bait on a hook. In 2 years, a prodigy ranking war, every great power sending its young monsters at once. In 5 years, an ancient relic to the dark sea cracks open. A thing that happens exactly once every 100,000 years. Big words. I file all of them, and under all of it sits my master's own quiet wish spoken to me once and never repeated, that I take the 0 sequence, become young sect master, and one day sit where the sect master sits. First, I have to survive getting home, and I have a confession to make. Back on the mountain, I sit sect master Gao lie down, and in the tone of a boy admitting he tracked mud across the carpet, I list the bodies. A young sect master of Tianmen, prodigies of linking, prodigies of crimson flame, he waves each one off. Kids die in secret realms, the sect will smooth it over. Then I mention the grandson of the ancient royal family. Gao Lai's beard stops mid-stroke. Which family? The old one, I offer helpfully. With the emperor, the suppressing one. The sky goes dark. 7 great emperors come down on the forbidden sect at once. The demon-suppressing emperor and the bright king, both of the Xiao family. The wine saint and the dustless, both linking. Heavenly fire and fireborn, both crimson flame. And the heavenly gate emperor of Tianmen, whose young sect master I melted on the grass. 7 emperors in one sky, and every one of them wants one 20-year-old. Mokshuan walks out alone and holds all 7's pressure on his shoulders like a man holding up a collapsing roof. And behind him, the entire sect, 2,000 disciples, 8 grand elders, every last outer sect nobody who ever climbed my peak to beg a skill, plants its feet and roars one single word. War, the system sings, but this is more weight than I priced for. 7 emperors is more than even my master can carry. So the mountain answers. 2 figures walk out of the forbidden land, the scholar Gu Tao, the beggar and Wen. And the instant they appear, 7 emperors flinch, because these 2 are ancient and unbearably arrogant, and they were killing invaders from beyond the dark sea 10,000 years before the Xiao family learned to spell the word emperor. They promise, cheerfully, that not one disciple of the forbidden sect will lose so much as a hair today. Then the battle leaves the world entirely. Gu Tao against 4, and Wen against 3, my master diving in wherever it's rudest. And when 3 of the 7 try to gang and when for one bad heartbeat it actually looks like my sect might bleed, a burial mound in the forbidden land bursts open from the inside. One of 100 purple mounds nobody ever explained to me. An old man rises out of it, wreathed in so much death the very air rots and browns around him. He looks a single breath from the grave, his voice is dust. Which of you, he says, was about to hurt my juniors? His name is Earth Soul, and he lifts one finger. The shattered sky, the void those 7 emperors tore open with all their war, his glance stitches it back together like it never broke. Like smoothing a wrinkle out of a bedsheet. Then he draws one skill, one sword crossing the starry river, a whole river of stars and blade light poured across the heavens, and 7 great emperors turn as one and run. My master, grinning like a lunatic, kicks the heavenly gate emperor of Tianmen straight into the sword river as he flees, and the Tianmen emperor comes apart into red rain and quiet. 7 attackers arrived. One does not leave. I'm still catching my breath when Earth Soul turns and walks back into the forbidden land, and I see the thing I was never, ever meant to see. He sheds the death kai like a wet coat off his shoulders. The decay just falls away. The wrinkles smooth, the stoop straightens. The graveyard smell lifts, and underneath all of it he's young, strong, perfect, not a breath from any grave at all. The dying sect, the declining forbidden sect, the pitiful old power everyone in the world agrees is one bad morning from collapse. It's an act, all of it. The frailty is bait. They wear death like a lure on a line, so the imperial clans and ancient families keep sending their brightest young monsters up the mountain to be broken. Whetstones. Every one of them. Sharpening the forbidden sect's own blades, generation after generation, never once guessing they are the ones being used. And behind Earth Soul in the forbidden land, I finally count them properly. Not one mound. Not 10, 100 purple mounds, 100 more of him sleeping. I stand there and look at 100 graves that aren't graves, and for the first time I start to understand exactly what family fished me out of that dead village. The Tianmen sect gets to enjoy its dead emperor for about one night. Then the forbidden sect sends 3 elder ladies with ancient saint peak cultivation down the mountain, and by morning there is no Tianmen sect. Just a spot on the map where one used to be. That's the family I belong to now, very warm to its own, very final about everyone else. By now my name is a household curse across the 3,000 great worlds, and Shen Wu finally corners me with his real offer. He wants me as his battle protector in the Heavenly Mystery Pavilion's master selection. Winners and their protectors get to bathe in the heavenly spirit pool, which he swears on his life is worth the trouble. I tell him no, because there's nothing in it for me, my honest answer to almost every proposal I've ever received. Then my master takes me aside. Mentions what that pool actually does to a foundation like mine, and presses 2 things into my hands. A blood jade token that can summon his clone if I'm ever truly cornered. And a whole bottle of the stackable longevity pills. I am, suddenly, extremely interested in the heavenly spirit pool. We travel to Tianji City for the selection, and I make a new enemy before I've had lunch, which, for me, is a slow day. There's a little girl about to be trampled in the street by a spirit horse. So I flick one finger of telekinesis and pluck her out of the way. The horse belongs to a young woman named Feng Yulan. Ancient Feng family, ranked 79th, dressed like a sunset and roughly twice as pleased with herself, and she is furious that a nobody interfered with her ride. You touched my horse's path, she informs the street. Cut off your own arm and apologize. I look at her. I look at the horse. I look at the crowd, which has gone quiet in the specific way crowds go quiet when they smell a good beating coming. Let me make sure I've got the shape of this, I say. Your horse nearly turned a child into a rug. I stopped it, and the correct response is that I chop off my own arm. I tilt my head. Is that a Feng family custom, or is it just a you thing? 'Cause if it's a custom, I have notes, and if it's just you, I look at the animal. I have a horse. Then I teleport, slap the teeth out of her mouth on the backhand, and quietly, the way I do everything worth doing quietly, plant a bloodthirsty nether poison in her while my hand's already there. On the walk back, I eat a longevity pill in front of the entire street. 1,200 years of life in one bite, just to watch the powerful old men in the crowd choke on it. The horse, I decide, is mine now. It has extremely strong opinions on the subject. We'll come back to that. Feng Yulan's aunt does not find it funny. Feng Yan, a wanking ancient saint, sweeps in, finds my poison, purges it clean. So I detonate whatever's left of it and nearly kill the niece anyway, because I have never in my life planted just one seed. Feng Yan's hand comes up to cripple me for it, and I crush the blood jade token, and my master's clone unfolds out of empty air and slaps an ancient saint across the sky like she's behind on the rent. For an encore, the clone spends a leisurely minute broadcasting the private romantic history of a pavilion elder named Xuanji, who'd been stalling nearby to help the Feng family, until Xuanji would very sincerely like to be dead. Then the clone claims the heavenly scale horse as compensation for emotional distress, which is how the animal becomes officially, legally, with witnesses, mine. The horse and I have a frank negotiation that evening. It's a tsundere little monster, all teeth and wounded pride, so I lay out its options in plain language: steamed, fried, or braised, pick one. And when it fails to pick, I bind it with a beast tamer and spirit imprisoner taboo that not even an emperor can undo. It sulks. It stays. Over the coming months it'll grow fat, tame, and weirdly devoted, and it will never once forgive me, and I find the whole arrangement deeply satisfying. The inn fills up, meanwhile, with people who want me dead. Feng Yulan nursing the new gaps in her smile, Mo Fan of Crimson Flame, Kui Guang of Linking, Xiao Jai of the Xiao family, whose cousin I unraveled in a collapsing realm. They're pooling their grudges, planning to gang me the moment the selection drops us all in a secret realm with no elders watching. And in the corner, a beautiful young woman with a bracelet of glass beads watches me and smiles to herself. Hua Uni, prodigy of the ancient Hua family. I clock the smile. I clock the bracelet and where I've seen its twin, and I file both away, because I've got a very strong suspicion about whose heart she really belongs to, and it isn't mine. The selection opens the next morning. 2,000 hopefuls, 3 hostile ancient saints glaring holes in me, and my master lounging in the front row, specifically so those 3 saints have to swallow their glares in public. The rules: dive into the netherworld's secret realm, collect fragments of deduction stones, assemble them, deduce the hidden secret. Top 100 pass. Killing another sect's disciple gets you disqualified. Feuds between protectors, though those are entirely permitted. The pavilion's polite way of saying please do murder each other will be looking the other way. Inside, I don't hunt fragments, I fish for them. I rob a pile off the strong the fun way first, feudo Mayo in the open, right in front of Mu Yi of the Xiao family. An ancient saint who has to watch an outsider casually swinging his family's own royal secret and looks like he swallowed a live wasp. Then I do the clever thing. I plant 6 different types of fragment as bait, and I settle in to let the greedy come to me. Xiao Jai takes it. So does a Tianji prodigy named Lai Wu, whose fully assembled stone Shen Wu lifts clean out of his hands while he's busy screaming at me. Xiao Jai I've been saving. He rages up wearing a Vajra ancient body, all indestructible skin and imperial pride. And I answer it with a world-destroying lotus packed full of heavenly poison. He says I surrender, right on schedule, the exact half-second before the lotus blooms. And I detonate it anyway, right on schedule, because in this secret realm I'm forbidden to kill a rival sect's disciple, and nobody wrote a single word about not destroying his Vajra body and poisoning him past any cure his whole family carries. His own hidden old ancestor, Emperor Opportunity of the Tianji Pavilion, has to peel out of the watching crowd just to keep the boy breathing. Mu Yi roars that I ignored a surrender. My master cups a hand to his ear, all innocence. Sorry, the wind-up here is terrible. Did someone surrender? I only heard a lotus. Feng Yulan and her 2 co-conspirators corner me deeper in the realm. 3 prodigies, every trump card out at once, which is exactly how I like my enemies. All in, nothing left in reserve. I scatter their protectors with a fistful of bait fragments. And then I answer all 3 trumps with a single stroke of one sword crossing the starry river. Earth Soul's own skill. The whole secret realm goes silent, watching an unranked nobody swing an old ancestor's blade. The 3 of them go down flat. Mo Fan and Kui Guang I leave breathing, live witnesses are future income, and I never waste a resource. But Feng Yulan, the moment her mouth shapes the first sound of the word surrender, I'm already behind her. And I finish it a hair before the word can land and save her. The pavilion elders scream that it was after the surrender. My master examines his fingernails. My eyes are the ruler here, Mo Xuan says, pleasant as a spring morning. And from where I'm sitting, she was a hair too slow, tragic. We'll call it a one-time pardon so nobody has to lose face. Nobody loses face. Feng Yulan loses somewhat more than that. The rest of the selection is comedy. Shen Wu and I spend an embarrassing amount of it robbing a rival prodigy named Chen Shi of his hard-won deduction stones, over and over. Purely to make him cry. Purely because his master is the Xuanji whose love life my master narrated to a stadium. Somewhere in the middle of tormenting the poor man, I get a proper look at the glass bead bracelet on Hua Yuni's wrist, and I confirm the suspicion. It's a matched pair to a token I've seen 100 times on my own senior brother Kun Zion, the sect's quiet, deadly number 2 prodigy. Those two are secretly, dangerously in love. Interesting, very interesting. I'm going to want that later. Shen Wu passes and becomes a heavenly mystery master. Chen, she is the only personal disciple in the whole selection to fail, which I choose to regard as a personal achievement, and which he chooses to regard as the start of a grudge that will, eventually, get a lot of people killed. While I collect my winnings, the world outside quietly decides I'm a plague. Zio family resolves to send their 9 nether emperor out to end me, muttering that if the boy is allowed to grow, he could become another soul venom emperor. A name I don't know yet. A villain the 3 ancient families supposedly killed together long ago, and the Feng family mobilizes in full, led by Feng Vuelan's grandfather, a monster they call the Sword Mad Emperor, Feng Taikwang. But first, the reward, the heavenly spirit pool. Winners and protectors climb in. It's meant to be a gentle, holy soak. My forbidden chaos technique, with its bottomless floor, treats it the way a straw treats a cup. I drink the entire pool dry. The gathered emperors, including a good-natured old fool named Emperor Giantian, whose name I keep mishearing as Chicken Cutlet, to his visible and growing pain, have to keep refilling the thing, while I climb 3 realms in one sitting to Primordial's 4th level. And that's the moment the whole cheat clicks fully into place for me. The technique doesn't just store power, it stacks it, endlessly, into a foundation so deep 1,000 starving skills could drink from it forever and never find the bottom. The pairing was never luck. Somebody built it that way on purpose. Mo Xuan yanks me out of the pool through a rift the instant the reward ends. Because he can feel the storm coming, and the storm's name is Feng Taikwang. The chase that follows is a masterclass in my master's second favorite art form, which is running away with style. He hauls me across the sky, shoves me towards safety. And on the way, because the man physically cannot help himself, he sneak attacks the Sword Mad Emperor with a fistful of blood demonic poison and severs the Emperor's arm, which Feng Taikwang has to hack off his own body to keep the poison from taking the rest. That's 2 emperors now, 2 ancient families, each down an arm because of my family. We are, if nothing else, consistent. That, Mo Xuan pants, flinging me the last mile so hard he wrenches his own back, was advanced running away training. You're welcome. Don't tell the elders I threw out my spine. Then the Sword Mad Emperor and the 9 Nether Emperor corner us both against the sect's own doorstep. And Earth Soul steps out again, one glance. Feng Taikwang's entire sword intent, the thing that makes him the Sword Mad Emperor, shatters like river ice in spring. His Tao heart cracks right along with it. Earth Soul doesn't even kill him. Sparing him is the crueler thing, and everyone in that sky knows it. My protective value crosses 200,000. And when the beggar old ancestor watches me flinch at the carnage and offers, brightly, we could always just hand him over. Save the trouble. Nobody laughs harder at his own jokes than a 10,000-year-old man. Earth Soul fights the 9 Nether Emperor a full day and night beyond the edge of the world. Wins, wounds him, scatters the circling vultures, and then, quietly, he calls me down into the forbidden land, and he shows me the thing I think he's shown almost no one. 200 spirit tablets, the ancestors, some living, sleeping in their purple mounds. Some, he says, truly gone. He walks me down the rows, and one tablet is turned to face the wall. A villain, he tells me. A soul venom emperor the sect itself put down an age ago. I don't linger on it. I really should have. Then he presses 10 longevity pills into my hand, each one a full month of taboo skills at no cost to my life at all. And he says almost gently, "Grow up fast, little one." And for just a moment his eyes go far away, and he murmurs about a dark world he's glimpsed. A place drowned in millions of corpses, where a young figure taller than a mountain paused over the ledger of the living and read out one name. Mine. I don't ask, some things you don't want a 10,000-year-old man to explain. He assigns and when to guard me from the shadows and sends me on my way, because a core disciple named Wu Lei has been patiently, endlessly reminding me about a hunt out in the demonic beast mountains, and my master is going back into seclusion to heal, and idle hands make a bored Ling Jian, which is a danger to everyone within 1,000 miles. So I set out for Nanqianju with Wu Lei and 5 core disciples. chaperoned this time by an outer sect elder named Zhu Dan, a mild, forgettable man who turns out, delightfully, to be a secret master of taboo skills in his own right, and who will spend the whole trip begging me to teach him more of them, while we bond over an aphrodisiac curse that absolutely should not be as funny as it is. I'm starting to understand that everyone in this sect, top to bottom, elder to errand boy, is exactly the same flavor of shameless. It's the warmest thing I've ever belonged to. We reach Nanshan City to find its gate held by 3 sects: Poison Heaven, Rakshasa, and Bewitching, all lapdogs of Crimson Flame Valley. They've taken the city, crippled a local sect's prodigy, and started charging tolls to breathe. Taking it back is barely a story. The 3 sects at the gate have a young master named Zhu Ming who's very fond of tolls, so I slap him dead in front of a crowd that lines up afterward to testify to his crimes. His prodigies come at me, and when one of them tries the old seduction routine, the sad eyes, the trembling lip, the surely you wouldn't hurt a woman, I hand her a dagger and a small correction. I said I wouldn't hit you, I tell her. I never said one word about killing you. The 2 local sects they'd been grinding under, Wuya and Huaxian, quietly kneel to the forbidden sect, the way you kneel to whoever just pulled the boot off your neck. Crimson Flame Valley notices. Crimson Flame always notices. The dead sects were its lapdogs, so it sends their ancient saint old ancestors down on the city that night, really just testing the water, checking whether my master is guarding me. The Wuya and Huaxian saints throw themselves in to save my life out of pure self-interest, which binds them to my sect forever, which is the kind of accidental empire I keep building without meaning to. Then the forgettable Elder Zhu Dan stops being forgettable. He melts out of the dark and ambush kills the Poison Heaven saint with a breathless blood curse, a silent thing that leaves the victim rotting from the inside out. Helps finish the other 2. And recites the sect creed like a prayer. Beat the young, the old step in, and the old share the young's exact fate. Then he spends the entire rest of the night begging me to teach him more taboo skills, and we stay up until dawn perfecting an aphrodisiac curse, and I make my final peace with the fact that my whole sect, from old ancestor down to errand boy, is one single shameless creature wearing different beards. The 2 rescued sects wipe out the 3 lackey sects for us as a thank you. I teach Wu Lei's 6-man crew the aphrodisiac curse. Every single one of them declares it easy, which tells you everything you need to know about the company I keep. And then we walk into the demonic Beast Mountains, a treasure house of a wilderness with a rumor buried in its heart, a terror so old that even an emperor could die down in it. We'll get to the terror. First, I rob a prodigy. We run into Hua Yu. Ancient Hua family, ranked 74th. He's killing a beast for a spirit source fruit, and I put on a mask, blindside him with a log the width of a barrel, and take his storage ring, which contains, among other treasures, a fragment of a map to a hidden secret realm. My 6 disciples strip him down to his ice silkworm underclothes for good measure. Because they are bad, bad boys, and I have failed as a role model in the single most gratifying way possible. The map is a puzzle in 3 pieces. I soul-search my way through a sword feather prodigy for the trail, learn a Mu family prodigy holds the 2nd fragment, and find him. Mu Tian, 73rd, cultivating under a waterfall with a 9 heavens sacred body and the smugness that comes standard with one. So I do my very favorite thing in all the world. I arrange for my enemies to fight each other. I plant Hua Yu's stripped robe and a matching sword cut on Mu Tian, and I stand well back while Hua Yu, still furious about the robbery, duels the Mu prodigy who obviously did it. When Hua Yu starts to lose, I sweep in as a noble passing stranger, Ling Jian, at your service, cripple Mu Tian with a netherworld bone-melting palm, and quietly slip the emptied ring back onto Hua Yu's finger while he's distracted being grateful. Hua Yu finishes the crippled Mu himself, and inherits from me the debt of his life and the last 2 map fragments, which assemble into a complete route to the hermitage of the spirit medicine immortal saint, a never-qui temperer who spent his death growing a whole paradise of spirit herbs. Hua Yu swears his loyalty on the spot, and then cheerfully misreads my interest in his cousin Hua Uni as a crush, which I decide not to correct, because the truth that I'm quietly matchmaking her to my senior brother Kun Zion is a much better bomb to keep in my pocket than to defuse. Half the world converges on that hermitage. The Feng family alone floods the range with 10,000 prodigies and the sword Mad Emperor. The Zio family sends the demon-suppressing Emperor. Crimson Flame sends Wen Kai. Everyone has finally decided that if they can't corner me with strength, they'll bury me under numbers, using their juniors so the forbidden sect can't complain about elders killing a disciple. Inside the hermitage, there are 2 spirit veins and 6 sacred herbs. Huayu takes the fruit that perfects his spiritual origin body. I pocket 5 herbs for Elder Wai Tang, because I still owe him a garden and I intend to overpay him in a way that lets me keep insulting him forever. But the dead saint's remnant turns out to be a body snatcher. And it wants Huayu's rare body for a new house, and it seals the realm to take it. I crush the blood jade token again. My master's dharma body descends, crushes the snatcher's soul like a grape between 2 fingers, warns me in his own tired voice that he has a bad feeling about all of this, tells me to go home, and assigns Zhu Dan to keep me alive. I don't go home. I never go home when I'm told to. And the bad feeling my master had turns out to be an ambush the size of the sky. Because the second we start to leave, the sword-mad emperor, his arm regrown now, and the demon-suppressing emperor seal the entire mountain range. No messages out. No help in. And they open an emperor war on Wen, my hidden guardian, just to keep him busy and blind. Feng Yan and Feng Lingsheng break through Zhu Dan's guard and wound him, until Zhu Dan drops into a groveling, fake kowtow and slaps his aphrodisiac curse into Feng Lingsheng, who then has to spend a humiliating half-hour purging it in front of 10,000 of his own clansmen before he can flee the field. It buys us seconds. Zhu Dan uses them to tear open a rift and throw me, Wu Lei, and Huayu deep into the mountains, toward the one place nobody sane goes. "Run, boy," he shouts an instant before the rift closes. "And don't you dare die owing me a taboo skill." I run, I send Wu Lei and Huayu off in one direction. And I let the whole Feng family chase me in the other, because I'm the one they actually want. And I'm the one who can survive being wanted. I kill hundreds of prodigies on the run, ambush, poison, aphrodisiac, all the classics. But 10,000 is a lot of anyone. Then the 6 beast lords of the mountains wade in, force the 3 saints back out of the deep range, and politely leave the juniors free to hunt me to death. A crimson flame sacred artifact tower pins me from above. The swarm closes from below, and even I run out of tricks eventually. So I use the last one, I die. Blood reincarnation and illusory shift. I make my own body detonate in a spray of blood and essence, and to every single eye in that valley, and to the golden wall in the sky, where my name gutters out one more time, Ling Jian is gone. The Feng family celebrates. Crimson Flame celebrates. They withdraw, satisfied, checking me off a list they've been keeping for a long time. And my drained, hollow husk of a body drops down, and down, and down, into the one place they were all too smart to follow, the abyss. Something catches me on the way down, something with eyes the size of battlefields, chained, ancient. Hungry, and its very first words to me, its first words in who knows how long, are a deeply insulting, rumbling, delighted. Finally, a meal, a beat. You're very skinny. Rude, I manage from somewhere near death. I'm big-boned, and that, believe it or not, is the start of the best thing that ever happens to me. Up in the world, my death does something I did not plan for. Mo Xuan's life tablet, the little stone that tracks whether I still breathe, cracks straight down the middle. And my master, the lazy beggar emperor, the man who found a stranger's child in the wreckage of a village and decided he was worth keeping, comes apart in a way the 3,000 great worlds will feel for a generation. Earth Soul steps in front of the shaking sect and tells them exactly why this is not a loss they can afford. The boy learned the 1,000 taboo skills in 2.5 years, he says. And the founder of the forbidden sect, the man whose sect this is, only ever mastered 997 of them, across a whole lifetime. I could have surpassed the founder. So Earth Soul declares open war on the 3 powers, wakes a dozen more old ancestors from their purple mounds, and sends the demon god himself to comb the world for my corpse. Only Wen, who searched the abyss and came back empty, quietly suspects the truth, because down in the dark, the behemoth is playing dead over me like a dog hiding a bone. Meanwhile, down in that dark, I do what I do best when I'm weak and cornered and sitting on top of something enormous. I squat down, and I extort it. Turns out my new landlord holds the legacy of an array emperor, so I haggle 100 emperor formations out of it in exchange for the priceless service of not being annoying, which I am extremely good at being. And while I'm haggling, the entire war mobilization of my grieving sect pours into my account. Tears and rage and 100,000 people ready to burn the world down for a dead boy. And the number climbs, and climbs, and crosses the line I've been staring at since that first night on my roof. 2,010,000 protective value. I buy the longevity body. Endless life, an immortal frame, a soul nothing can crack, and every one of my 3,000 skills from this single breath forward free. No more counting my years like a beggar in the dark. No more my master out in the poison wastes with bleeding hands. Life force blooms out of me and fills the whole abyss like a sunrise happening underground. And my landlord, a golden dragon, I can see him clearly now, chained down here for 490,000 years, whose own father was a war beast of my own sect, recoils from the light of me, and decides very wisely to be extremely quiet. The demon god arrives, seals the abyss, wraps my transforming body in his protection, and frightens the golden dragon into a silence that's going to last an era. The Feng family, he remarks, looking at the reborn thing I'm becoming, did us a favor. We should send them a fruit basket. Then the sect that thinks I'm dead goes to collect on the debt. The Feng family is celebrating when the sky over their home realm turns black. They think they killed me. They think it's over. And then the forbidden sect arrives, and it doesn't arrive quietly. 100 ancient saints. 200 saints. 100,000 disciples in ranked formation. 8 grand elders, each carrying a naked emperor weapon. And 10 awakened gray temporal old ancestors, the frailty shed, the graveyard smell burned off, descending on a single family for a single dead boy. The Feng family fields 30 great emperors to meet them. And for a moment they even think they have the numbers. 30 against 10. They do not have the numbers. Numbers stopped mattering the day my sect decided to stop pretending. 10 of mine hold off 30 of theirs and kill half in the first exchange. But the part I'd have watched if I'd been awake is my master. The lazy beggar, dismissed as a mere second-realm emperor beneath everyone's notice. While 10 old ancestors trade world-ending blows overhead, he goes hunting. Quiet, patient. He finds Feng Lingsheng and Feng Yan, the 2 who broke Zhu Dan's guard, the 2 who cornered his boy, and he burns their souls down to nothing. No coming back. No next life, he does it methodically. For a disciple he still, in that moment, believes is dead. That's who my master is. When he thinks I'm gone, he doesn't grieve loud, he grieves like this. Sect Master Gao Lai breaks the patriarch Feng Dai with his own 2 hands. And when the smoke clears, the Feng family is no longer a great power. It's a cautionary tale that other clans will whisper for a long time. Crimson Flame Valley gets a gentler visit. 3 of my old ancestors show up for Wen Kai. And when the valley's own emperors resist, my 3 simply announce, calmly, that they'll all self-destruct together right over the valley. And Crimson Flame folds and hands Wen Kai over, never once suspecting that my 3 were bluffing so hard they were sweating clean through their robes. On the way out, the valley's spirit fire emperor lets slip a piece of cosmology I tuck away for later. That this whole world is a cage, some vast being built. That great emperor is the ceiling of that cage. And that the only door out is across the dark sea. My master burns Wen Kai to ash to keep an old oath. The Zio family stays too wary to catch, so the Anshan and Lu Feng brothers erase the Tongshan sect instead, the vassal that sold my location, hidden emperor and all, as a receipt. And then the news breaks over the whole grieving sect like a second sunrise. Ling Jian is alive. The longevity body is awakening. The demon god is guarding him. My family, who tore a world apart to avenge me, gets to keep me too. The demon god frees the golden dragon on the way home. Kun Zi. 490,000 years in chains. Now sealed down into the body of a chubby, sulking child, capped at the first realm of great emperor. He becomes my battle beast by soul contract. Which means for the rest of my life I have a great emperor who calls me boss and complains constantly. And a little brother who could flatten a mountain range if he stopped pouting long enough to try. And the comedy of that arrangement never ever gets old. Back home, Earth's soul reaches out to the spirit tablets, and the last mask drops. The dead ancestors aren't dead. One answers from a whole star world he's conquered. The heavenly poison ancestor is off ambushing the lords of some dynasty. Others are out clearing a restricted zone, whatever that means. The declining, pitiful forbidden sect is a colossus that fights across a multidimensional universe, with a supreme progenitor ancestor sitting above them all. And its frailty on this one world is a costume it wears to keep the local ants sharpening its blades. The longevity body I now own, I learn, violates the very laws of heaven. Only one can exist at a time. The last owner was a villain the sect drained for 1,000,000 years to make the very longevity pills my master fed me. I try not to think too hard about that last part. To thank the old ancestors for all of it, they ask one small favor. A jade basin of my blood. A whole basin. The comedy of a dozen 10,000-year-old monsters queuing up with a bowl for a 20-year-old's blood is only survivable because a beautiful, terrifying woman named Shadowthorn Orchid, Grandma Shadowthorn. I decide to call her to her face, which she permits exactly because nobody else would dare, appoints herself my personal guardian, and glares the rest of them into taking only what won't kill me. I donate the blood, and in return I get the Blood Emperor pill, an imperial-grade treasure I immediately start planning to give my master. And a fistful of life-saving imprints. A dozen old ancestors, each leaving a sleeping piece of themselves inside me. A dozen last resort saves waiting under my skin. I don't think much of them at the time. Just insurance, just a nice gesture from a very strange family. Write that down, though. Those little sleeping saves are going to matter later more than anything else I own. And then they hand me the door to the other 2,000 taboo skills. Free now, all of them. Forever 3,000 skills, an immortal body, a dragon for a little brother. A dozen emperors sleeping under my skin. I was a dying thief with 2.5 years to live and an eviction notice. I'm starting to think I might make it to 30. 2 years go by, and I'll be honest, they go by quietly. Because when your body is immortal and your skills are finally free, you can, at last, afford to just study. I master all 1,000 public taboo skills for real this time, not as party tricks. Down to the bone. I break through to the Nirvana realm, and with the golden dragon feeding me the Array Emperor's legacy a piece at a time, I become a formation grandmaster. 100 Emperor formations at my fingertips, which is, I'm fairly sure, the single most dangerous thing a lazy man has ever been handed. Then the Heavenly Mystery Pavilion announces the Prodigy ranking war. 1 month out. Every great power sending its young monsters, and my sect's real prodigies finally walk out of seclusion. Kun Zion, ranked second in all the 3,000 great worlds, Myriad Tao God Body, the quiet swordsman I've been quietly matchmaking. Su Fei, ranked 10th, Taeyin God Body, my senior sister who could freeze a volcano with a raised eyebrow. Lai Zion, who still has no idea I saved his beloved's life in a secret realm 2 arcs ago. Zio Hao, the 8 of them, my brothers and sisters. And the reunion is all warmth and comedy and Mo Xuen bickering with Wai Tang about whose disciples going to shine brighter. My 7 senior siblings hear how the world tried to kill me and swear, all of them, to make the Feng and Zio families and Crimson Flame regret it. I promise to teach them taboo skills in return, which is the forbidden sect version of a group hug. Su Fei spars me to take my measure. I show her a few Emperor formations, and then I lose to her, gracefully, on purpose. Because there's a whole social art to hiding exactly how monstrous you are, and I've gotten very good at it. Then the sky tears open and the next arc walks in. A secret realm has surfaced in the lower realm, the 3,000 small worlds beneath ours where only saint-level power can descend, and this one is personal. In 2 ways. 1, it's the corpse inner world of a void realm beast that my own sect's founding ancestor killed an age ago, and somebody is trying to resurrect the thing, which means somebody is about to be very sorry. 2, and this is the one that matters to me, I am from the lower realm. I transmigrated into a small village down there, a village that was butchered around my new body. My new parents killed in front of a child's eyes, and Mo Xuen found me in the wreckage and decided I was his. I never learned who did it. I'm going down to find out. We descend, Kun Zion and Lai Zion, 6 old ancestors, 10 elders, and me. The reception platform is a war before we even land. A Feng family prodigy is there, Feng Ming, ranked 4th, the young god king, and Small World, the original owner of my fat, tame horse. He's crushing a rising loose cultivator named Hua King into paste when Kun Zion steps in and catches the killing blow one-handed. Zio Zhan, ranked 3rd, arrives wearing his murder face specifically for me. and 10 forbidden elders open up on the Feng family with the kind of shrieking, shameless, artful verbal abuse that is, technically, how I get paid. My sect's lower realm branch fills in the last piece. The people who killed my village were the Blood Demon Palace, a roving cult, one of the 7 powers down here. And right now, the Blood Demon Palace's masked lord is trying to resurrect that void realm beast corpse by slaughtering everyone who enters the secret realm and draining their essence blood into a world-spanning killing formation, backstopped by a bronze tower that's almost an emperor weapon. The demon god peels off into the shadows to hunt the mastermind. I file one name under the heading of people who are going to have a very bad month. Blood Demon Palace. Before we go in, I bully Crimson Flame Valley off the best staging peak with a near Holy War bluff, because good real estate matters and their faces are extremely funny under pressure. The lower realm, 100 million strong at the gate, learns to fear the forbidden sect the way you learn to fear weather. And then warmth, reunions. Lai Zion and Mei Ling, officially blessed now, holding hands and shy about it, while I stand there pretending I didn't arrange the entire thing from a secret realm 2 years ago. Shen Wu, with my horse, fat, tame, and radiating pure betrayal at me. Refined flame disciple, cauldron and all. Hua Yu, my grave-robbing brother. I hand out longevity pills like festival candy. And Hua Yu brings the gossip that lights the fuse under this whole story. The Feng Hua marriage got cancelled when the Feng family fell, but now the Y imperial family wants Hua Yuni. Wants her for Y Jin, the #1 prodigy in all the 3,000 great worlds, Hua Yuni. Who loves my senior brother Kun Zion. That night I do the responsible thing, which is spy on my senior brother's love confession with a far-sight taboo. Kun Zion and Hua Yuni. Moonlight, the whole thing, a near kiss. And when I glance around, I realize every other prodigy and 5 of our elders are also secretly watching from various bushes. Because we are a family of degenerates, and I have never been prouder to belong to it. Kun Zion talks quietly about eloping. The whole sect, silently and unanimously, vows to help him do murder if it comes to that. And his real plan crystallizes. At the prodigy tournament, he's going to kill Y Jin, because dead grooms can't marry. Meanwhile, the Blood Demon Palace Lord and 15 saints lurk at the very edge of it all. Invisible only because their lord is personally shielding them from my old ancestors' senses. We pour into the secret realm, and it does exactly what I expect. A hidden teleport array scatters everyone the moment we land. I get jumped almost immediately by loose cultivators who are Blood Demon Palace in cheap disguises, and I introduce them to tenfold incarnation, 10 copies of me, each casting a different taboo with heavenly poison for seasoning. Then I open the void eye and see it. The blood formation, spanning the whole realm, quietly harvesting the essence of everyone who dies in here. The demon god has already gutted its killing power without telling anyone, keeping it live as bait for its master. I follow the screaming and pull Shen Wu and refined flame disciple out of a blood demon ambush. And find, running it, a very familiar rat, Chen Shi, the Tianji prodigy I made cry at the selection, who sold my brothers to a death cult for the twin joys of survival and revenge. He looks at me, I look at him. He remembers all at once everything I ever did to him. Oh, he says. Oh, I agree. My tenfold incarnation formations fold his whole blood demon squad into paste, and I keep a memory stone recording of every word he confesses on the way out. Because evidence is a love language. Then, instead of leaving through the sealed exit the cult built to trap us all, I flip the array inside out, turn it into an exit-only door, and let every trapped martial artist in the realm walk free. Which is enormously heroic of me, and incredibly annoying to the people who spent a month building the trap. And while I'm at it, I run a small business on the side. I etch Emperor formations into cheap spiritual artifacts, portable, disposable, extremely explosive, and I charge every grateful escapee their storage ring as a toll for the privilege of not dying in here. Enemy elders outside try to turn the freed crowd against me, screaming about extortion, and my 10 forbidden elders bury them under an avalanche of creative, artistic abuse. Money in, insults out. The system purrs like a cat in a sunbeam. Then the demon god catches the mastermind, and the truth of this whole realm turns out to be bigger than any of us. The Blood Demon Palace's masked lord is a split-souled dharma body of Mu Yuan of the Mu family. A fifth realm great emperor. And the secret he was chasing, the reason for the whole slaughter, is one my own sect has been sitting on since before history started counting. The forbidden sect didn't just live in the upper and lower realms. The forbidden sect made them. Every imperial clan, every ancient family, every proud power scheming for my head. They're all ants the sect keeps in a cage it built. And the void realm beast corpse this realm grew from was just something a forbidden ancestor killed and repurposed to extend the lower realm. The way you'd add a room to a house. The demon god crushes the clone. Far away in the upper realm, an old ancestor named Oblivion Tempest kills the real Tianyuan in his sleep. Silently, and the world never learns a word of any of it. Crisis over. I break through to the peak realm on the overflow and spend 100,000 protective value doing it. Because if the sky insists on handing me power, I insist on spending it. I reunite with my brothers, and Su Fei greets me by finishing a project of her own. She's honey-trapped a lecher, a 35th-ranked prodigy named Hua Lei, who couldn't keep his eyes to himself. And by the time I arrive, she's stripped his whole squad, robbed them clean, and hung him naked from a tree by his own belt. My senior sister is not a woman you underestimate twice. We put our heads together on the two names that actually matter down here. Feng Ming, ranked 4th in all creation, the young god king of the Feng family, and Xiao Zhan, ranked 3rd. Both of whom made the trip to the lower realm for the specific purpose of putting me in the ground. So we give them exactly what they came for, or close enough to it that they can't tell the difference until it's too late. We do the thing we're best at. Kun Zion and Su Fei play wounded, limping out into the open, robes torn, blood that looks real because a little of it is, two exhausted forbidden sect prodigies who have clearly just barely survived something and can barely stand. It's good bait, it's convincing bait, and two of the proudest young monsters alive look at two easy kills that also happen to be my beloved senior siblings, and they cannot resist. They take it. They chase the bait straight into the center of 11 Emperor formations I've laid and merged into a single killing engine, and the moment they are past the threshold, my 8 senior siblings spring in from every side and the formations slam shut. The arrays bind. The sky inside the box goes the color of a bruise, and two of the strongest young men in the 3,000 great worlds discover, at the same instant, that they are now locked in a very small space with the worst company in the world. Feng Ming does what Feng boys always do when they're cornered. He reaches for the family's last card and triggers the life-saving phantom of the frenzy sovereign himself, an ancestor's spirit clawing up out of a talisman to save the heir. It's a genuine trump. It would work almost anywhere else. And from the shadows at the edge of my formations, the demon god, one of my hidden grandfathers, watching over the whole thing the way they always are, reaches out one hand and crushes the phantom before it finishes forming. Because my family these days does not permit other people's phantoms to finish forming. Xiao Zhan is the faster read of the two. He sees the phantom die, does the math in a quarter second, and burns a 10,000-mile space escape talisman. The coward's exit, the expensive one, and he's simply gone out of the box and out of the realm, alive to lose to me on some other day. I let him keep that day. I'm patient about days, but Feng Ming has spent his last card and there's nowhere in a sealed box to run. So I teleport into the center of my own trap, right in front of the young god king, and I bring down 11 sword taboos at once, 11 of the founder's forbidden techniques, folded into a single falling stroke. And the 4th-ranked prodigy in all creation, the pride of the Feng family, the boy they built an empire of grudges around, dies inside my box with his family's phantom still cooling beside him. The realm shudders and starts to fold. Everyone sprints for the exit I so kindly left open. Outside, Xiao Zhan spins the elders a heroic tale about 9 forbidden disciples ambushing him and killing Feng Ming. The Feng and Xiao elders rage, and my 10 shameless old ancestors and elders cow them right back down. And they retreat to the upper realm, swearing the revenge they can never quite collect. The Feng family, what's left of it, starts making its calls, planning to wake Feng Ming's mother's imperial clan, planning to gather everyone who hates me and hold the grudge until a much bigger event. The ancient relic to the dark sea, 3 years off now. And closing, but I have one thing left to do down here. It's the reason I came. Elder Dao Ying is the one who finds it. The Blood Demon Palace's true home, the real one, not the decoy, hiding in plain sight for years behind a respectable front called the Chuanking sect. A whole death cult wearing an ordinary sect like a mask. So I go and take the mask off. I bring 11 Saint Peak elders of the forbidden sect with me, and we walk in through the front, and we do not knock. 15 blood demon saints rise up to meet us, and for one moment they think their numbers mean something. They don't. 15 of theirs against 11 of mine is not a battle. It's a demolition, room by room, the front sect peeled away to show the rot underneath. The blood demon saints who spent an age hunting the helpless, discovering all at once what it's like to be the smaller thing in the room. My elders move through them like a tide through sandcastles. I move through them looking for one specific face. And at the center of it, I find him, the blood demon saint who led the raid all those years ago, the one whose men butchered a small village on the edge of nowhere, who drained a child's parents for their essence blood and left the drained shells in the dirt, who left one boy alive and alone in the wreckage, small enough to overlook, for a lazy passing emperor to find and decide, for no reason at all to keep. He doesn't recognize me. Why would he? To him, that village was a Tuesday, one of 100, forgotten before the blood dried. I recognize him. I've carried his face folded up somewhere behind my ribs for a very long time. I don't make a speech. I've learned the emotion doesn't live in the speech. I look at him. And I let myself think for exactly one breath about a village I remember better than I want to, about 2 people whose faces I only half kept. And then I make sure he doesn't get up. Mother, father, whoever you were. Whoever I was before, it took me a while. It's done. The elders loot the whole palace clean afterward, on the cheerful sect principle that everyone who sees it gets a share. The lower realm's 7 great powers quietly become 6, and every survivor down here learns the same lesson everyone up above already knows. You do not offend the forbidden sect. And in the forbidden land, the supreme progenitor ancestor hands down a ruling about me. They will not simply hand me power. They will make me walk out of the 3,000 great worlds on my own 2 feet. Because the sect I fell into doesn't just fight kingdoms. It fights across a multidimensional universe, against things it only calls the ghostly things. It has woken 80 of its old ancestors and sent them to that war, and kept barely a dozen home to mind the store and sharpen one dying thief into something that can survive the dark. I used to think I got lucky being adopted by a lazy old man. I did. I just had no idea how big the shadow was that I'd been standing in the whole time. The Prodigy Conference is in 1 month. Let's go find out where I really rank. It gathers in Tianji City. And for the first time in my life, I arrive as a beloved figure, which is new and strange, and I don't entirely trust it. A month of teaching taboo skills to anyone who climbs my peak has made me the sect's favorite uncle. The Feng family boycotts, still nursing its wounds. Everyone else comes. The 4 imperial clans, the Dragon Clan, the Phoenix Clan, all of them. My master and Wai Tang bicker the entire journey about whose disciple will shine brighter, which is their love language, and by now mine too. The first real event isn't in the arena. It's at the dinner table. When Kun Zi, my sulky, chubby little brother, casually one-shots Hua Yu in a friendly spar and accidentally reveals that he's a great emperor. My 3 friends immediately reclassify themselves as his underlings, which he hates and secretly adores. And across the city, the Dragon Clan feels it. Their chief, Kun Ba, and their prodigy Kun Tao, ranked 11th, taste the bloodline on the air and realize a lost golden dragon is sitting at my table eating spirit fruit. They start planning how to take him from me. While they scheme, I handle a small chore. A Mu family prodigy named Mu Jian, ranked 160th, brother to the 8th-ranked Mu Yang, is bullying the staff at Tianxiang Tower. So I take the ring off his finger, the finger off his hand, and the cultivation off his soul, in that order, and I tip the abused waiter on the way out. His brother Mu Yang challenges me to the arena for it. I decline. Sweetly, because I'd much rather harvest him in front of his whole clan at the conference than for free in a stairwell. The Dragon Clan makes its move as a wager. Kun Tao bets me, if I lose to 5 dragon prodigies at once, they get to take Kun Zi. It's a clever trap, a way to claim my little brother without technically starting a war. I take the bet because I always take the bet. And my 8 senior siblings try to jump in and help and get politely blocked out of it. So I do it alone. 5 dragon prodigies fan out around me, scales rippling under their skin, and the crowd settles in to watch the arrogant nobody get taken apart. Kun Hai, the biggest of them, cracks his knuckles and grins. 1 peak realm ant against 5 of us. Chief said, humble you, I don't think we'll need to try very hard. Probably not, I agree. You won't. Time-space step. The space between us just isn't there anymore. There's no crossing the distance, no wind-up, no tell. One instant Kun Hai is grinning at an ant across the arena, and the next instant I'm inside his reach, close enough to count his teeth, a palm already flat against his chest. His grin is still on his face. His body hasn't caught up to the fact that the fight started and ended in the same breath. He is exactly long enough to feel a Peak Realm ant do the thing a Peak Realm ant cannot do, and then Kun Hai goes down, first of the five, while his four brothers are still turning toward the sound of him falling. The grin is gone from the crowd now. So is the laughter. Kun Ba comes half out of his throne. The four remaining brothers do the smart thing, which is stop underestimating me, and the smart thing is far too late. They come at once from four sides, scales hardening, claws out, a coordinated Dragon Clan kill formation drilled into them since childhood, and it's a beautiful formation. It really is built to crush any single opponent caught in the middle of it. The trouble is I decline to be a single opponent. Tenfold incarnation. 10 of me bloom across the arena at once, each one a full copy, each one solid, each one already mid-motion before the dragons can adjust. Their four-sided formation was built for a man in the center. Now there is no center. There's a Ling Jian behind each of them, beside each of them, above each of them, a fan of sword taboos coming from 10 directions into a defense designed to face one. There's no forming a guard against a man who has just become a crowd. The eldest brother gets a taboo through his scales before he can finish his opening roar. The next two die back to back, trying to cover angles that keep multiplying. The last one actually turns to run, which is the most honest thing any dragon does all day and doesn't get a full stride. 4 more dragon prodigies down before Kun Hai's body has finished settling onto the sand. I've won the bet. Kun Zi is mine, free and clear in front of the whole city. Which is when a dragon ancient saint decides the rules were more of a suggestion and sneak attacks me for it. A full ancient saint's palm dropping out of the stands at my back. The kind of blow that doesn't leave a transcendent standing, let alone a Peak Realm boy. And that's the moment my chubby little sulk of a brother stops sulking. Kun Zi unfolds. Golden scales, a great emperor's pressure. A bloodline older than the world these dragons remember. He turns almost lazily, and one punches the ancient saint into drifting golden dust before the palm ever lands on me. Then he lets his bloodline off the leash. Just a little, just enough. And Chief Kun Ba and his 8 elders drop to their knees on their own thrones. Their bodies do it before their minds agree, the way you kneel to a king, or a storm, or a thing your blood remembers being afraid of a long, long time ago. A whole city watches the Dragon Clan kowtow to the fat kid who's been eating spirit fruit at my table all week. It is the single most satisfying thing I watch all year, and I watch a lot of satisfying things. The Dragon Clan's own great emperor, Kun Zun, an azure dragon, descends in a rage. And for a heartbeat, the whole city holds its breath at the lip of an emperor war. Then my side stacks the table. Sect Master Gao Lai. My Master Mo Xuan, a full second realm great emperor now. The 4 Tianji Pavilion old ancestors, and Earth Soul and Shan and Lu Feng. Kun Zun does the math and retreats, vowing to study the bloodline later, which is emperor for I'll be back with friends. The conference opens for real the next day, and the guest list reads like a map of everyone who wants me dead. Crimson Flame Valley, led by Huo Xing. Linking Sect, led by Lei Bo. The Zhao family, Zhao Tian and Zhao Zhan, third ranked and still bitter about escaping me twice. The Dragon Clan, freshly humbled. And at the very center of the honored seats, calm and cold and untouchable, the #1 prodigy in all the 3,000 great worlds. Why Jin? My senior brother Kun Zion looks at him across the arena the way you look at a wall standing between you and the person you love. And I look at him the way I look at everyone at the top of a mountain I intend to be standing on by the end of the week. My master leans over and whispers, "That one's real trouble, good disciple." #1 for a reason. #1, I whisper back, is just a chair nobody's kicked him out of yet. Round 1 is a ladder, 10 of them actually. 10,000 steps each. Under a gravity that wants you flat on your face and a soul pressure that wants you gone entirely. A million prodigies start climbing. No treasures allowed, no pills. But martial skills are fair game. And that one word, allowed, is the loophole a lazy man lives and dies by. Kun Zion and Wei Jin climb to the 9,000th step and calmly sit down to cultivate on it, because monster's gonna monster. I don't climb at all, I wait. Then I carry my entire sect up the ladder on my back. Demon God Undying Body to shrug off the gravity. Divine Soul Vajra Shield to shrug off the pressure. And pass on the Skiltwall, a drop of my essence blood into each of dozens of disciples and all 3 of my friends, temporarily lending them my taboos. And my whole family blitzes to the top first, all at once, entirely provably within the rules. The other powers scream cheating loud enough to crack the sky. The referees check the rulebook, find nothing. Zhu Dan defends me at volume, and the system, as always, gets paid handsomely for the outrage. Then I run the ladder back down as a revenge tour, robbing and thrashing everyone who called me a cheat, humiliating a knot of crimson flame prodigies with the aphrodisiac curse until several of them expire of pure embarrassment, while Mo Xuan records the whole thing on memory stones to mail to Huo Xing later. Because in my family, cruelty is a craft passed down through the generations. 1,000,000 becomes 500,000. Round 2 is a secret realm world seeded with 40,000 token fragments. Only 10,000 tokens worth of holders walk out. No rules this time. Kill freely. The 3 great powers quietly order every prodigy they own to gang kill me on sight, which I honestly appreciate, because it means they'll keep coming to me and I won't have to walk far. So I fish. I bait a girl in a human skin mask, break her poison dagger and her arm, finish her a hair before surrender. I lay 4 Emperor formations and a scatter of spirit stones as chum, and a trio of rising loose cultivator prodigies takes it, and a 10 directions Emperor annihilation formation blasts all 3 to nothing at once. Shen Wu, still woozy from a system backlash he took trying to scry me, lures a dragon prodigy into the same trap, and I take his head and hand my own advancement token to Shen Wu, because a walking compass is worth more to me than a place in the next round I could earn 10 times over. It's fun, fishing. It stops being fun the second I feel my sect in trouble. Huo Yun, ranked 15th, and Mo Feng, ranked 19th, have cornered dozens of my core disciples, the ones who put their heads down and honestly farmed 10 tokens between them, and have decided to hunt them for sport before taking the tokens off their bodies. I feel it happen. A drop of my blood lives in each of those disciples from the ladder, and when they are afraid, I know. I cross half a secret realm world in a breath. I arrive as 10 of myself. 10-fold incarnation, 10 full copies fanning out around my people, and the hunters who were so brave a second ago against frightened juniors find themselves surrounded by 10 of the man whose juniors they are, and I wipe them off my disciples like crumbs off a table. Then I gather the 10 back into one, and I turn to Huo Yun, who has stopped hunting and started backing up. He wears a great sun divine body, a small living sun burning under his skin, and the particular confidence of a boy who has never once in his life met his own ceiling. I decide to introduce him to it. Here's a secret I've kept from you this whole time. I told you the public book of the Forbidden Sect holds 1,000 taboo skills, and that I mastered all 3,000 behind the sealed doors. All true. But there are skills past even those. Skills the founder buried so deep he didn't give them a rank because taboo wasn't a strong enough word. And I trained one of them. God and demon slayer in one sword. It burns tens of thousands of years of lifespan for every heartbeat it stays open. Which for any other living being is a fancy way of spelling suicide, and for man carrying the longevity body is a Tuesday afternoon. Huo Yun's great sun flares up bright enough to throw shadows across the whole arena, and he laughs at the unranked ants standing in front of it. You're at the peak, first level. A nobody, I am 15th in all of creation, boy. Do you have the faintest idea what a great sun divine body does to something like? I open it once. Just once. One breath of a skill that would kill anyone else in the world to hold. The great sun divine body comes apart like a candle in a hurricane. The little sun gutters out. And the 15th strongest young monster in all creation, mid-sentence, mid-boast, goes down onto the secret realm ground and does not get up. And the last thing on his face is the question he didn't finish asking. Silence, a whole tournament's worth of silence, pouring in from every watcher who felt that skill go off, and none of whom have ever seen or heard of it before. Up on their mountain, the old ancestors of Crimson Flame Valley watch their ranked prodigy fall to a technique that isn't in any book they own. They do the arithmetic that everyone who meets me eventually does. And then they do the smart thing, the thing almost nobody does in time. They withdraw. Their 3 gray temporal old ancestors turn and leave the tournament entirely rather than send another child down to me, backed quietly off the mountain by 6 of mine, who never even have to speak. My protective value clears 300,000. Mo Feng, ranked 19th, does the smart thing and abstains before I can reach him. So I kill him the instant he abstains. Because abstain protects you from the match. It does not protect you from me. His linking elders come down off the mountain for revenge, and my old ancestors take a linking emperor's arm off at the shoulder and set it on the ground where he can look at it. Emperor Opportunity, the neutral old monster refereeing this circus, rules in my sect's favor again, because at this point ruling against my sect is how emperors get their own arms rearranged. Then somebody makes a mistake. They grab Hua Yu and refined flame disciple, and they mail me a note. Bring every token to the northern peaks, send Shen Wu alone, or the hostages die. I love a note like that. A note like that tells me exactly where 1,000 idiots are going to be standing. I go as Shen Wu. Same face borrowed, and I walk into the captor's little army, a loose cultivator prodigy named Fan Y and 1,000 friends, and I do the most generous thing I've done all week. I throw them tokens, dozens of them. Just toss them into the crowd, and 1,000 greedy prodigies do what 1,000 greedy prodigies always do. They fight over them. They grab, they shatter, they claw the fragments out of each other's hands. Every token was soaked in soul-devouring poison. I collect Hua Yu and refined flame disciple and Hua Uni. I walk out, and then, somewhere behind me, I let the curse open. Fan Y and a few hundred of his closest business partners find out what they were really fighting over. I go back afterward and pick the tokens up off the ground, because they still work fine. And my whole team advances on the strength of a robbery I got other people to commit for me. Round 3 is a straight arena bracket, with a prize stacked to the sky, a sacred artifact, 4 saint pills, saint-grade skills, and imperial cultivation technique. My master attends in person, insults the referees for exercise, and tries to arrange 3 marriages from the stands. I curb-stomp my way up the bracket. At one point, an imperial clan princess named Zai Wan gets in my way, so I punt her off the stage by the seat of her robe, and her cousin Zai Lan, ranked 9th, stands up in the crowd and vows a rematch over her cousin's dignity. Get in line, Zai Lan. The line is long and it moves slow. The bracket also keeps pairing me against my own family, which is genuinely my favorite kind of match, because I get to watch them be dangerous in front of the whole world, and nobody I love actually dies at the end. Wenen, a sect brother nobody outside the sect has ever heard of, comes at me with a poison needle trick and a turtle breath technique that lets him play dead mid-fight. And then the part that makes me grin, one of my own taboo skills. One I taught him myself on a slow afternoon, turned back on me now with real craft. The crowd expects a nobody. What they get is a nobody who fights like he studied under a monster, because he did. In my sect, there are no jokes. Even the ones who look like jokes will take your arm off if you let them. I'm proud of when in the entire time I'm beating him, and I make sure the beating is gentle, and I make sure the crowd sees exactly how good he is before I win. Then it's refined flame disciple, the Guden legacy. My best friend, and the one man alive whose life's dream is to build a pill that can finally kill me, a goal he pursues with such open, cheerful devotion that I've genuinely come to find it touching. He walks onto the sand with a fresh batch of explosive pills he invented himself after watching my formation bombs work, which, when you think about it, is the sincerest compliment anyone's ever paid me. He winds up. He throws his ultimate, the pride of months of blowing up his own house, and I open my mouth and eat it. Sky-splitting devour, the whole blast, swallowed, gone. Refined flame disciple stares at me, personally and profoundly offended, and surrenders on the spot, already muttering formula adjustments under his breath, already designing the next one. I wouldn't change a single thing about him. And then the tournament stops being funny for exactly 1 minute. Zio Zhan, ranked 3rd, the one who slipped me twice in the lower realm. He can't reach me, so he goes after the smallest target he can find, my sect brother Chen Guang, and he takes him apart on purpose. Slow to make me watch. Chen Guang goes down with an arm gone and the light going out of him in front of the whole arena as a message addressed to me. I read the message. I walk over and I kneel down next to my brother, and I put my hand on what's left of his arm. Longevity body. A drop of my blood, and the ruin knits, and the arm comes back, and the light comes back on behind Chen Guang's eyes. My master steps in close and spreads his sleeve so 10,000 people don't see a Peak Realm boy regrow a limb like it's nothing. Nobody sees. Just me and Chen Guang and the color coming back into his face. "You're okay," I tell him. Quiet, not for the crowd. "You're okay, I've got you." Then I stand up and I add Xiao Zhan's name to a list. And on my list, the weight is the only mercy anyone gets. Top 20. 6 of the 20 are mine, me, Kun Zion at second, Su Fei, Xiao Hao, Feng Bo, Lai Zion. The rest is a murderer's row of Imperial clan prodigies and secret monsters, and 3 separate people who have publicly promised to kill me. Dozens of great emperors crowd the stands to watch the top 10 fight, plus an old ancestor from the Tianji Pavilion who has no organs and a very unsettling smile. And the first bout of the round is me against my own brother Lai Zion. Lai Zion fights with a near-sacred sword and real skill. So I stack 3 taboos and then, because I'm showing off, and because my master is watching, I make a black hole with my bare hand. Just open a hole in the world in my palm. Dimensional rift. And I close the match with the god-slaying, demon-slaying fist while Lai Zion's sword is still deciding what happened. Running gag, meanwhile, my master has no near-sacred weapon to lend me, so he extorts a whole armful of them off sect Master Gao Lai to return to the sect stores, and then hands every single one to me. Same as it ever was. 2 thieves, we never take a loss. The round of 20 thins to 10, and the draw for the top 10 hands me a gift wrapped in a bow, Su Fei versus Kun Tao. Kun Tao ranked 11th, and secretly a lot stronger than 11th. Because somewhere along the way the Dragon Clan fed him a refined drop of true Dragon Lord blood and turned their prodigy into a weapon. And Su Fei, quiet, deadly, the Taiyan body, and not that anyone in the stands knows it, my personal favorite person in the 3,000 great worlds. The whole arena groans on her behalf when the names go up. A soft-spoken sect girl nobody's ranked against the Dragon Clan's living bloodline. The bookmakers stop taking bets. Across the way, Kun Ba actually relaxes into his seat and smiles, because this one's going to be a reminder. Kill the forbidden sect's little disciple in front of the world, and take some of the shine off the trash who's been humiliating his clan all week. I pull Su Fei aside in the tunnel before she walks out, take her hand like I'm wishing her luck, and while I'm holding it skin to skin, I pour 7 of my taboos into her, and under them, folded so deep even I have to concentrate to feel it, one curse. "Let him hit you," I tell her, quiet. "Let him think he's winning. Let the whole arena think it. You'll know the moment. When his soul goes cold, open everything at once." She looks at me with those calm eyes. "How cold?" "You'll know," she knows. Kun Tao comes out of the gate already gloating. "The forbidden sect sends me a woman," he calls to the stands, and the traitor half of the arena laughs on cue. He unfolds as he crosses the sand, scales rippling up out of his skin, horns breaking through, the body stretching into the half-dragon shape the clan's so proud of. "I'll make it quick, little sister, out of respect for the corpse." Then he hits her. And she lets him. That's the part that cost me something to watch. Su Fei takes the first blow full across the guard and skids back across the arena, and the crowd roars, and Kun Tao laughs and comes again and again, driving her the length of the sand. And every single time his claw lands, her hand brushes him back, a fingernail across his forearm. A knuckle to his ribs as she's knocked away. Nothing, scratches a healer wouldn't bother with. The crowd doesn't even see them. Kun Tao certainly doesn't, he's too busy being magnificent. 1, 2, 3, 8 times he beats her, 8 times she touches him back. On the 8th, his face changes. It starts behind the eyes. A little confusion in the middle of his own victory, a cold he can't place, a draft blowing through a room that's supposed to be sealed. He looks down at his own chest like he's misplaced something. And what he's misplaced is his spiritual sea, the ocean a cultivator's whole soul floats on, because 8 fingernails ago the curse went into the water, and it's been rising the whole time he was preening. He opens his mouth, maybe to call for help, maybe just to ask what's happening, and no sound comes out. "Now," I say from the tunnel. Nobody hears me but her. Su Fei opens all 7 taboos at once. The half-dragon-shaped Kun Tao was so proud of comes apart from the inside, and the 11th ranked prodigy in all creation, the Dragon Clan's living bloodline, folds down onto the sand and does not move, killed by a girl he spent 8 exchanges congratulating himself for beating. The arena forgets how to make noise, and then Kun Ba comes up out of his seat screaming his heir's name, murder pouring off him in a wave, and one lazy arm drops across his path like a lowered gate. My master, who yawns, who leans in close to the shaking dragon chief and asks, with genuine warmth, whether he's enjoying the tournament so far, because personally we're having a wonderful time. My protective number sails past 400,000 while Kun Ba chokes on his own rage. Then it's my turn again, and this one I don't even dirty my hands for. Mu Yang, ranked 8th, secretly all the way up at the peak, decked head to toe in a near-sacred spear and near-sacred armor his family emptied a vault to buy. He struts onto the sand certain of exactly one thing. The unranked trash across from him can't scratch that armor, so I don't try to. Instead, I get careless. 2 gorgeous near-sacred weapons slip out of my storage and clatter to the sand between us, right at his feet, and I lunge like I'm desperate to grab them back before he can. Greed does the rest. Mu Yang snatches them up first, both of them, one in each hand, grinning at the idiot who just armed his own executioner. And I smile back, because inside each of those beautiful weapons is an imperial array wrapped around a hidden curse, and he's holding them against his chest like trophies. I detonate them. 2 near-sacred artifacts going off at once, point blank, inside a boy's own guard. The armor holds barely, buckled, smoking, and his patriarch Mu Fan is already vaulting out of the stands to snatch the near-dead boy clear and slap a concession down before I can finish the job. He thinks he saved his son. He carries him out of the city fast, wrapped in his own robes, telling him he's fine, he's fine. He's not fine. Minutes later, on the road home, the second curse, the quiet one, the one that had nothing to do with the bombs, finishes what it came to do, and Mu Yang goes to ash in his father's arms under an open sky. The tournament passes a new rule that same afternoon, unnamed but unmistakably about me. No fighter may carry self-destructing near-sacred artifacts into the arena. I have been legislated against personally. I have honestly never been prouder of anything. And then best of all, I get to sit down and watch someone else do the work. Xiao Zhan, the one who took my brother Chen Guang apart on the sand just to mail me a message, draws my senior brother Kun Zion. Xiao Zhan is secretly at the 2nd level of the ultimate realm, and he opens with the Xiao family's pride, an imperial 100-arm technique that fills half the arena with grasping, clawing limbs, a forest of arms all reaching for one man. It's genuinely a lot to look at. It's meant to be. Kun Zion looks at all 100 of those arms the way you look at a menu you've already ordered from. You took a piece off Chen Guang, my senior brother says. That's the whole speech. Kun Zion was never a talker, blood prison spirit slayer. One cut, top to bottom. It goes through the 100 arms and the man behind them like they are the same soft thing, and Xiao Zhan opens down the middle like a door swinging wide. And the last look on his face is the specific surprise of a man who brought 100 hands to a fight and lost to one blade before he could close any of them. He does not get up. And up in our section, Chen Guang, arm whole, color back, watching the man who crippled him fall, finally lets out a breath he's been holding for a day and a night. Xiao Tian shakes so hard in the stands that I can see it from the arena floor. I catch his eye and give him a small, friendly wave. It seemed like the polite thing to do. Top 5 now. Me, Su Fei, Duan Kai, Kun Zion, and the wall everyone's been walking toward all tournament. Wai Jin, number 1. The top 5 draw hands me the red token. A bye. Straight to the final, no sweat, watch the others bleed. I love the red token almost as much as I love a hostage note. So I get to sit and watch Wai Jin reveal exactly how much of a wall he is. Su Fei goes first, still carrying 10 of my cursed taboos under her skin, and she doesn't waste them. She walks straight at the number 1 prodigy in creation and opens all 10 at once. The arena, which was settling in to watch her get corrected, sits bolt upright because she's winning. Curses land where his guard should be. Taboos fold through defenses that have never been folded through. She opens a wound across Wai Jin that makes 1,000 great emperors in the stands lean forward as one, and for one whole second, the length of one held breath, the entire world believes the impossible thing is about to happen. Then Wai Jin burns a substitute doll. Understand what that is because it's the wall behind the wall. The Wai clan pulled 4 of these things out of some ancient relic, and each one is a spare life. Take a killing blow, and the doll dies in your place, and you snap back whole as if the last exchange never happened. The wound across his chest simply unhappens. The blood climbs back into him, and the man who's been pretending all tournament to be merely the finest prodigy alive stops pretending and lets the arena see what's actually under the polite excellence, the chaos divine body and the third level of the ultimate realm humming beneath it. He's not a wall. He's a wall with lives to spare. Su Fei looks at that for exactly one heartbeat, and then, because she is the smartest person I know, which is somewhere on the long list of reasons I love her, she raises a hand and surrenders. You don't spend your one life on a man carrying spares. She walks off the sand with her head up, and I could kiss her for it. Kun Zion goes next, and it's a sword god duel they'll be describing in tea houses for 100 years. Myriad Dao body against chaos divine body, two of the finest blades ever forged in mortal shape, and they take the arena apart between them. Cuts that split the sky into ribbons, sword light that carves canyons in the tournament stone. My senior brother matches the #1 prodigy stroke for stroke, and then finds the seam and lands a cut that should end anyone, a cut that does end Wai Jin. For the half-second it takes the second substitute doll to burn and drag him back whole. 2 spare lives gone now, 2 left. And Kun Zion, who the night before sat through a very quiet, very unwelcome lecture from my master about the exact difference between your pride and your pulse, lowers his sword while the second doll's ash is still drifting, and surrenders with the arena screaming for him to press. He steps off the sand alive. My master in the stands nods once like a man who bet on the right horse, which leaves me. And a wall with 2 lives left, and a problem. Because here's the thing my system has been whispering to me. 500,000 protective value buys me a breakthrough to the transcendent realm, 1 full realm above Wai Jin, above everyone alive at this tournament. And I'm sitting at 450,000, 50,000 short. On the lip of the biggest fight of my life, 50,000 short. So I do what I always do when I need my enemies to protect me. I make them attack me. I stand in that arena and I insult Wai Jin's ancestors, his technique, his face, and his personal hygiene. Then I turn to his clan chief Wai Jian in the stands and promise, in detail, to beat him so thoroughly he soils his own robes in front of his ancestors. It works exactly the way it always works. Wai Jian and the old ancestor Wai Kun come off the mountain to kill the mouthy boy, and my 6 old ancestors materialize around me like a wall of graves standing up, and shield me from a blow I provoked entirely on purpose. 60,000 protective value all at once. 520,000. The system purrs, breakthrough guaranteed. Wai Jin swears to kill me cold and formal the way a man promises a chore, which is perfect because I need him swinging with everything he's got. We both step onto the sand. The #1 prodigy of the 3,000 great worlds, chaos divine body, 1 spare life still in his sleeve against an unranked nobody standing at the first level of the peak. The whole arena has done this arithmetic. Every emperor in the stands has already written the ending. You've been lucky, and you've been clever, Wai Jin says, walking toward me, chaos rising off his shoulders like heat off a road. Luck runs out, cleverness runs out. There's a floor under both of them, and the floor is strength. You don't have mine. He isn't gloating. That's the thing about him. He genuinely believes he's explaining something to me kindly before he ends it. You know what? I tell him, you're almost right. He charges. Full power, no more measuring, the certainty of a man about to close a book that's annoyed him all week. Mid-charge, I burn all 520,000 at once. And I go up, 1 whole realm in 1 heartbeat, standing still on the arena floor while the sky changes color around me. Transcendent. A full realm above him, a realm above every living thing at this tournament. And Wai Jin, committed, already flying, runs face first into a set of physics he no longer belongs to. And I watch the certainty come off his face all at once. Watch him understand in the middle of his own killing blow that the floor he was so sure of just moved, and it moved under me. I catch him out of the air and imprison him where he hangs, and I'm precise about the order because I've thought about this. I crush his jaw first, deliberately, so the mouth that was about to say, I surrender, can't shape the word, and so the hand that would reach for that last substitute doll has nothing to bargain for. His eyes go wide. Not with pain, with the arithmetic finally coming out wrong. Then I put my fist through his abdomen and out the other side, clean, and there's no doll fast enough for a blow that's already landed. No reset. No spare life, no coming back. Why Jin falls and doesn't get up. Silence, the biggest silence yet, a silence with the whole world's great emperors inside it. Then a single new line writes itself across the sky over Tianji City, where 1,000,000 prodigies and 1,000 emperors can read it. Number 1, Ling Jian, the trash the sect threw away, the dying boy with 2 years on the clock, first in the 3,000 great worlds. Why Jian tries a grief-blind sneak attack the second I step off the stage, and my master blocks it before I've finished exhaling, and my 6 old ancestors ring him and Why Kun in until an emperor war is one wrong word away. The organless inorganic emperor brokers a truce to stop the sky from breaking. The Y clan hands over both their storage rings as an apology, and I stagger around clutching a completely fake, holy might injury to sell it. They pay. And then Sect Master Gao Lai pockets both rings for safekeeping. And I realize I've been robbed by my own side with the exact trick I'd have used, and I have never respected anyone more. The final board goes up. Number 1, me. Number 2, Kun Zion. Number 3, Su Fei. Lai Zion 9th, Zio Hao 10th. My little thrown-away sect didn't win the Prodigy Conference. It swept it. You'd think that would be the end of it. Win the tournament, go home, let the world nurse its bruises. The world had other plans. The world had been planning them for a while. On the road home, the sky tears open. The Dragon Clan's space bloodline, the one thing they're genuinely, terrifyingly good at, rips a black hole out of the empty air, and it reaches for the 2 things the whole conspiracy actually wants. Me and my little brother. Kun Zi and I get chain-grabbed and dragged toward a sealed pocket of star space, and every enemy I made all tournament is on the other side of that hole waiting to collect. Here's what they don't know. My demon god old ancestor, quiet as a held breath, reseals Kun Zi's power on the way in, so my golden dragon brother goes limp and plays helpless, a frightened fat kid, bait that doesn't know it's bait's bait. My master yanks me free of the pull, and my 6 old ancestors, the frail, coughing, ancient 6, let themselves get dragged into the trap. On purpose, wearing helplessness like a coat, they send Mo Xuan running with me and the sect master, playing the part of old men who have bitten off too much. They have not bitten off too much. Nobody in creation has ever handed them enough to bite. Inside the sealed star space, 26 great emperors are waiting. The Dragon Lord, Wai Kun. Old monsters from Crimson Flame and Linking and the Zio family, 9 of them at the peak of the Emperor tier, the single largest gathering of top-end killers the world has assembled in an age. All of it, every last one of them, aimed at murdering 6 coughing old men and a fat teenager. And the 6 old men stand up straight. The age comes off them like a shed coat. The frailty, the graveyard smell, the tremor in the hands, gone, all of it, a costume dropped on the floor. What's underneath is young and smiling and stands at a height the word Great Emperor doesn't reach. My whole life I thought my sect was small. My whole life the joke was that the forbidden sect couldn't fight its way out of a wet paper realm. And here, in a cage the conspiracy built to be inescapable, Earth Soul calmly seals the door from the inside, so none of them can leave. Then my grandfathers go to work. The Dragon Lord, who has terrorized this corner of creation for longer than most kingdoms have existed, is finished mid-roar, crown and all. Wai Kun falls to a single fist. The 9 Nether Emperor is simply melted out of the world. 26 of the strongest beings the age had to offer, sealed in a room with 6 they thought were dying, and it isn't a battle. It's the thing I told the crowd about a long time ago. It's a product demo. Kun Zi watches the whole thing with his jaw somewhere around his knees and finally understands what family he married into. So do I later when I hear it. The frail old men, the wet paper sect. They were holding their breath for years so the world would keep underestimating them, right up until the day the world made the mistake of grabbing one of their kids. There's a backup ambush, because of course there is. An emperor named Beikong springs a second trap on my fleeing group with 40-some ancient saints, and an emperor tower that actually starts to overpower my master for about a minute. Then Elder Su Lei, the same overlooked spy who once ate a hidden punch from Kun Ba to bring us warning, arrives with 100 ancient saints and old ancestor Yanshin at their head. And Yanshin breaks the emperor tower with 1 punch, and my master takes Beikong's head off his shoulders. Nobody had even noticed Su Lei was missing. Gao Lai gives him a treasury pick and an apology. When the dust settles, I do my accounting because I always do my accounting. 510,000 fresh protective value from that one afternoon. 630,000 total. Enough to break through again, except now I understand something worth more than a realm. I understand my sect. 6 world-topping monsters hiding at the top of creation, and the one crack in them, the one thing that will actually kill them, is time. Lifespan, the years running out. The same clock that was supposed to kill me at 22 is quietly counting down on the only family I've ever had. So I spend 200,000 on a longevity pill formula to buy my grandfathers more years. All I need now is to learn alchemy, which means a trip to the pill sect, which means more trouble, which is fine because trouble is the only currency I've ever been rich in. And the sect answers the tournament and the ambush the only way a sect like mine can. They skip every rule, every selection, every century of tradition, and they make me sequence 0. Young sect master, heir to the whole colossus. The first person ever handed the title without earning it through the trials, because I'd just earned it in front of the entire world instead. My master's face when they announce it is worth more than the title. Pure panic, his lazy little partner in crime, suddenly his boss. The token they hand me with the title turns out to be a second key to the sect's deepest treasury. Naturally. I'm the young sect master of the biggest thing in creation for about 4 minutes before I start planning to rob it. Robbing my own sect's treasury turns out to be a 2-man job, and my master volunteers before I've finished the sentence. Mokshuan teleports us both past the 2 gate guard elders with a taboo, giggling like a child, and I put my young sect master token to the first bronze vault door, and it swings open. And behind it is a second bronze door, a meaner one that was absolutely not here the last time my master cased the place. We stand there and stare at it. Somewhere above us, I know, sect master Gao Lai is having the best day of his life. He out-schemed the 2 greatest thieves in the sect by installing a door. My master presses his forehead to the cold bronze and mourns. And then the guard elders, Yun Hai and Shan Kue, come around the corner and chase 2 grown emperors out of the vault by the collars, and I have never loved my ridiculous family more. At home, the 6 old ancestors are having a much more serious conversation than how do we rob ourselves. They've watched the whole conspiracy assemble. They know the ancient ruins open in 3 years, and that everyone who wants us dead has agreed to be there. And they make a decision about me. Yanshin says it plain, the boy needs a trial that isn't a tournament. They're going to use the coming war to send me across the dark sea. Shadow Thorn, the quietest and scariest of them, says nothing, and privately decides he will be following me the whole way unseen, whether the others like it or not. That's my family. They plan to throw me in the deep end, and then one of them secretly swims out behind me. But first, I have a pill to learn how to make, because I've bought the formula for a longevity pill, the thing that can add years to a fading emperor, and my grandfathers are all quietly running out of exactly one thing. Time, so I need alchemy, which means the pill sect. Getting there is a caper. My master teleports me, my little brother Kunzi, and Wu Lei's whole 6-man crew out of a sect elder's private herb field about 1 second after they've relieved it of 8 spirit herbs. And about 1 second after the sect's heavenly killin' horse eats a transformation grass by mistake and stands up as a very confused young man. We arrive at the pill sect looking innocent. We are not innocent. The pill sect knows this on sight because the whole sect keeps its herb fields under armed guard specifically against my master, whose reputation precedes him the way a storm precedes a shipwreck. Then my master flirts with their elder Manhua badly at length, until she agrees to almost anything to make it stop. And in the middle of the negotiation, off in the disciple quarters, there's a muffled explosion. Refined flame disciple has blown up his own house again, perfecting the explosive pill he still, tenderly, dreams of using on me someday. It's good to have friends. And once they let me near a cauldron, the con reveals itself. Because I don't learn alchemy the way people learn alchemy. I master all 10 basic techniques in 1 hour. 100% essence extraction, first try, every try. The pill sect emperors watch a boy do in an afternoon what takes their prodigies decades. And refined flame disciple sheds an actual tear at the sight of my talent, before swearing once again that he will become the lord of explosions and blow me up on principle. He hands me his advanced manuals like a man handing over an inheritance. My master, meanwhile, does what my master does. To get him to leave, the pill sect agrees to give me 2 full months in their alchemy pavilion, every pill technique they own, plus 1 attempt to tame a flame in Spirit Fire Valley. Mokshuan shakes on it, weeping with gratitude, and secretly records the entire agreement on a memory stone, because a deal you can't prove later is just a favor, and we don't do favors. Two thieves. We never take a loss. Spiritfire Valley is where the Pill sect keeps its flames. 60 of them, alive and hungry, 7 at St. Grade, penned in a valley behind an old ancestor named Yao Guang. I'm supposed to tame one. I go in and, in the process of taming a nice sky-blue flame, I self-destruct a handful of near-sacred artifacts and flatten the entire valley, which annoys the other 59 flames enough that they all come at me at once. And here is where my grandfathers cheat on my behalf without telling me. 3 of my old ancestors are hidden in the valley, shadowing me because of course they are. They knock me out cold before the flames can, quietly crack open the Pill sect's most sacred sealed treasure. A golden crimson emperor fire the Pill sect doesn't even let itself look at, split its very origin in half, and seal one half inside me. A living, growing, emperor-grade fire, mine now. Then they turn back time on the whole valley, unbreak every rock I broke, and tuck me on the ground like I fainted. When I wake up, Yao Guang slaps me alert, and the Pill sect apologizes to me for the dangerous flames, and never once suspects that the frail old visitors just robbed their vault of the crown jewel and rewound the evidence. My master identifies the culprit immediately and delivers the family motto with a straight face. Family never harms family. He does not count the Pill sect as family. Then I spend my 2 months in the alchemy pavilion inhaling every technique they own. Basic, saint grade, imperial grade, every formula, all of it, memorized at a speed that makes the guardian emperors Yao Sheng and Yao Heng assume I'm an idiot who learned nothing. So they set a trap for my master's pride. An alchemy contest. They're trained disciples against the novice I clearly am. I do love it when people bet against me based on a face I'm making on purpose. Bet one is small on purpose. Yao Heng, a guardian emperor with a bruised ego and a disciple he's proud of, wagers 2 sacred herbs and 1 imperial herb that his prize student can out-refine the obvious novice. And the obvious novice, me, makes it close. My master coaches from the sidelines with the concern of a man who's never seen a cauldron. I fumble, I drop a herb. I overcount a heartbeat of flame and wince like I've ruined it. The whole room leans in to watch the trash embarrass the forbidden sect. And then, at the last moment, with the timing of a man who was never once in trouble, I pull a void-breaking pill out of my azure flame so clean, so perfectly formed, that the room forgets to gloat. We win. And this is the important part, we win by just enough to sting. Just enough that a proud sect's wounded pride demands a rematch with the stakes raised, which was the entire plan. A con doesn't work if you win big on the first hand. You win small and you let them insist on the second. Bet 2 is the hand I came to play. Stung, certain the first result was a fluke, the Pill sect puts up 4 imperial herbs to shut me up for good, the longevity flower, the soul-nourishing fruit, the nirvana fruit, and the fountain of life. And if you've been paying attention to what I need more than anything in the world, you already recognize that list. It's the exact shopping list for a longevity pill. The thing that buys my dying grandfathers years off the very clock that's killing them. They've just wagered the 1 recipe I crossed a sect to get, and they don't even know it. They swear a Heaven Tao oath to seal it, which means there's no wriggling out when they lose. And then they put refined flame disciple up across the cauldron from me, my best friend. The one man in the building who refuses to throw a match to make me comfortable, who rolls up his sleeves and comes at me with everything he has, because that's what friends are for. So I refine a flawless heaven-grade soul-nourishing pill with an imperial technique, and when the pill tribulation lightning comes down to punish my arrogance, my master casually blocks the lightning for me, and I collect all 4 imperial herbs. The full recipe. In my hand, the 4 pill emperors and their sect master are so shaken they offer me the sect master seat if I'll only join them. I turn it down. The forbidden sect is my home. It threw me in the trash, and then it became my whole family, and I'm not leaving it for anyone. But I promise to repay them someday. Refined flame disciple goes home and commits himself full-time to explosives, a man who has found his calling. Back home, the sect selection finishes and makes it official, me at sequence 0, Su Fei 2nd, Lai Zion 3rd. Sect Master Gao Lai leads the 9 of us into the real treasury at last, a star sea of treasure, and then splits himself into 8 bodies to make very sure none of us pockets anything extra. From that ocean of wonders I choose one thing, an emperor weapon. The emperor-slaying sword sealed, for now, more than I can wield today, exactly enough for who I'm about to become. Then my master seals the sword away from me, goes into seclusion, and tells me the thing the whole sect has been quietly bracing for. 3 years. In 3 years, the ancient ruins open over the dark sea, and the enemy that's been waiting across that water for longer than my sect has records will come through, and every traitor in the 3 worlds has agreed to help them do it. So I take 3 years and I spend them. I master all 3,000 taboos. I break through to the peak of the transcendent realm on my own, no protective value spent, my hidden reserve untouched and waiting. I refine the longevity pills and I feed them to my grandfathers one by one, and I watch the death smell fade off 6 of the strongest beings in creation, and it's the best money I've ever spent. My friends rise with me, refined flame disciple, Shen Wu, Hua you all hit the peak. Refined flame disciple goes fully bald from his own experiments and shows up with 1,000 explosive pills, each one built to kill a disciple, none of them yet permitted to kill me. 3 years. The clock that was supposed to end me at 22 now belongs to me, and I've spent it arming a family of gods for a war the enemy thinks they're going to win. When the day comes, 14 old ancestors walk me and the 8 sequenced disciples to the Bronze Pass, where the whole world is gathering to enter the ruins. My sect doesn't need an army to hold that pass. It earned the right to stand there alone a long time ago, by turning back the dark sea more than once when nobody else could. And Earth's soul stays home and does the cleverest thing anyone does all war. He animates 50 substitute dolls, dresses them in the faces of dead ancestors, and sends them to stand guard looking exactly like 50 terrifying old ancestors. So the coalition counts our monsters, gets the number badly wrong in our favor, and never learns what we actually have. We bluff with ghosts. We've always been better at hiding our strength than showing it. At the pass, every clan that wants me dead glares at me across the stones. Refined flame disciple presses 200 explosive pills into my hands like a mother packing lunch, and I pay him back with a longevity pill, and we're square. Then the relic gate tears open over the dark sea, and the ranked prodigies of the 3,000 worlds pour in, and the coalition, smiling, feeds its own cannon fodder disciples in first. And over the black water, 10 great emperors of the dark sea realm rise up out of the deep. Shadow, night, demon, underworld. Thunder, rain, and 4 human palaces older than mercy. The enemy from across the sea finally showing its face. Inside, the ancient ruins are a 100,000-year-old battlefield, littered with the legacies of dead emperors, and everyone scatters to grab one. My sect siblings go their own ways to find their own fortunes. I keep 3 with me, refined flame disciple, Shen Wu, Hua Yu. Shen Wu, my walking compass, points, and we follow 2 underworld prodigies named Yu Wen and Yu Wu, who are busy hunting a team of Feng family disciples through the ruins. We watch the 2 underworld boys catch the Feng team and take them apart, and seize a map and a sacred artifact off the bodies, the 7 Spirits Tower. And then we hear their orders, spoken out loud, and the whole shape of this war changes. Kill every prodigy of the 3 worlds, they say, except the ones on this list. The allied clans' prodigies, spare those, and take Ling Jian alive for Lord Yama. There's a list, some of the 3 worlds' own great clans are on the safe side of it. Which means some of the 3 worlds' own great clans are working for the enemy across the sea. I step out of the shadow. The 2 underworld prodigies barely have time to be surprised. Refined flame disciple bombs them, they survive on the tower's protection for 1 heartbeat, and then I catch Yu Wen by the skull and search his soul while it's still warm. And there it is, written in a dead boy's memory. The Hua clan. The Phoenix clan. Names I've stood beside at tournaments, all of them secretly in bed with the dark sea, all of them here to help murder my family under the cover of a war. I take the tower, the map, and a vial of Yu Wen's blood because I've just had a genuinely terrible idea, and terrible ideas are my favorite kind. Here's the terrible idea. I take the vial of Yu Wen's blood and a shape-shifting taboo I've never had a good enough reason to use before now, and I become Yu Wen. His face, his voice, the particular sullen way he carried his shoulders, and then I walk out of the shadows and straight into the underworld's 20-strong prodigy group, the elite killers of Lord Yama himself, led by a transcendent monster named Yu Shen, and not one of them blinks. They nod at me. They make room. I'm one of them now. I've just given myself a seat in the enemy's own war room, wearing the corpse of a boy I killed an hour ago. It's the most dangerous place I've ever stood, and I've spent my whole life standing in dangerous places on purpose. And what I overhear standing there nodding along confirms every ugly thing the soul search told me. When the group crosses paths with two three-worlds prodigies, Hua Shar and Lin Zai, Yushen doesn't give the kill order. He waves them through. Protects them, because their clans are paid-up traitors and the safe list is real, and I'm now watching it be honored with my own borrowed eyes. So wearing the enemy's face, I fix it. I don't draw a blade, I just steer. A word here, a suggestion there, a nudge to the wrong prodigy's pride. And I arrange for the underworld to do its own housekeeping, so that Hua Shar and Lin Zai die by the exact hands they sold my family to. Hua Shah spends his last living minute loudly disowning his own cousin Hua Yu to save a skin nobody's going to let him keep, and then dies anyway, which is the single most fitting thing about the entire Hua clan. And while I'm inside their plans, I plant a few of my own. I quietly arrange for refined flame disciple Shen Wu and Hua Yu to be captured, taken by the underworld as hostage bait for the still missing Ling Jian. Which sounds insane until you remember that a hostage is just one of my people standing exactly where I need them, inside the enemy's camp, waiting for my signal. I put my three best friends in the trap on purpose, and on the way through the slaughter I pull a Holy Land prodigy named Zhu Kaiyan out of a death he didn't earn, because a good deed dropped in the middle of a massacre costs me nothing today and tends to pay itself back with interest later. While I'm running my con, Shen Wu walks into a dead emperor's secret realm and walks out a different creature. The remnant soul of Emperor Xuanxi picks my compass as his heir and hands him the ethereal body and a divination curse. From now on, anything Shen Wu bothers to divine quietly dies, soul killed, never knowing why. A power born from the dark sees own ominous energy an age ago. My timid little fortune teller is now a soft-spoken execution. Then I stop being subtle. Still wearing Yuwen's face, I get in close, and refined flame disciple, and I unload 30 explosive pills into the middle of Yushen's group at point-blank range. The secret realm lights up. Underworld prodigies come apart in the blast, we flee out through the smoke, and somewhere far away Lord Yama feels 12 underworld life tablets shatter at once, and finally understands that Yuwen has been a wolf in his sheep pen the whole time. His answer just hardens the plan they already had. Take Ling Jian alive and use him to bait out the old ancestors. Yushen lives through the bombs on a saint-grade shield that eats the whole blast and leaves him standing in the crater, robes smoking, absolutely done being fooled. And he comes for me with 5 transcendent prodigies fanned out at his back, the underworld's finest, all of them finally understanding that the boy in their war room was never one of them. So I reach for the thing I've been saving, the Emperor-slaying sword. My prize from the treasury, the emperor weapon my master sealed for me because the whole of it is more than I can hold. I don't draw the whole of it now. I draw the first inch of it, just the first inch, and the first inch is enough to change the temperature of the entire battlefield. The 5 transcendent prodigies feel what's coming off that blade, and their confidence dies a half-second before the rest of them does. I cut them down, all 5, in the time it takes to describe it. I feed one a poison he'll never outrun. I fold another into an imperial array and simply close it, and there's no second where he was. And when Yushen does the sensible thing and turns to run, I'm already standing where he was about to be, and I pin him in place with nowhere left to go. Then I search his soul the way I searched Yuwen's, and out spills the whole guest list of the betrayal. 4 imperial clans, 4 ancient families, Crimson Flame Valley, linking sect. The Dragon Clan, the Phoenix Clan, all of them in league with the Dark Sea, all of them with old Forbidden Sect murders on their hands, including, I learn, the death of ancestor Wan Poison, an old ancestor the world believes died an age ago. My name goes roaring across the 3 worlds. The dead trash disciple cutting a road through the invasion. And then it gets personal. A demon race prodigy named Gui Lai, chasing some loose cultivators, lets slip the thing designed to put a hook in me. Su Fei. Xiao Hao, Mei Ling, captured, held as bait for Ling Jian. My people in a cage with my name on the trap. We gang beat Gui Lai into the dirt. He does the Dark Sea thing and reaches inside himself to self-destruct to take us with him in a last spiteful blast. And I reach in faster and take the heart out of his chest before it can finish the thought, which ends both him and the argument. I heal Zhu Kaiyan the rest of the way and win him over with a blood pill, another good deed compounding. And then I turn toward the fallen emperor battlefield. where they're holding Su Fei, because the word captured, and the name Su Fei in the same sentence rearranges my entire list of priorities. Guarding her, a demon race child called Gui Yan, a thunder prodigy with a war halberd, and 35 Darksea prodigies stacked between me and the one person in that cage I'd burn the whole battlefield to reach. And right then, in the middle of all of it, my system does something new. Ordinary people, nameless watchers all across the three worlds, following the legend of the boy carving up the invasion, start rooting for me, wanting me safe. And my protective value detonates upward to 7 million. The system hums, satisfied, and offers me a version update, a whole new way to cultivate by lottery, cards that can jump a man 1 to 3 realms at a pull. I file that away for later. Right now I have 35 prodigies standing between me and Su Fei, and I've never once let a number like that slow me down. I don't slow down for 35. I split into 10 of myself, 10 full copies, each one whole and each one already killing before the Dark Sea works out that the one target it was watching just became 10. Imperial arrays bloom open across the fallen Emperor ground like traps that were always there. My golden crimson fire, the half of a stolen Emperor flame my grandfathers sealed in me without asking, pours across the battlefield in a wave. And refined flame disciples explosives walk through the Darksea ranks the way a landlord walks through a building on rent day, patient, thorough, collecting. 35 prodigies gone, and in the gap they leave refined flame disciple, and Hua you get the cage open, and Su Fei steps out into the light and finds me already there. Then I turn to the two who thought they were guards. Gui Yan, the demon race child with a sacred artifact, and the thunder prodigy with his war halberd, both of them suddenly aware they are the last things standing on a field I've emptied. I unseal one more layer of the Emperor-slaying sword, the 2nd inch, and I put them both down, sacred artifacts and all, because a spare weapon has never yet saved anyone from a blade built to kill emperors. The three worlds, watching from 100 scrying mirrors, erupt in worship of the dead trash disciple carving a road through their invasion. And across the black water, the demon lord and the thunder lord feel their children die and start, in 2 different voices, to scream. The Dark Sea sends its best after that. Luo King, the #1 prodigy of the whole Dark Sea realm, a shadow race monster standing half a step beyond the transcendent. Feng Xing of the night race. Tian Kun, son of the heavenly emperor of their strongest human palace. The elite coming personally to collect me, so I do the thing I'm best at. I teleport my sect siblings out of the blast radius, drop 2 storage rings stuffed with 20 explosive pills in the spot the elite are converging on, and set them off. The blast kills several outright and leaves the leaders wounded and furious, and buys me exactly the room I wanted. Meanwhile, far off, my senior brother Kun Zion finds an emperor legacy of his own and climbs to the 3rd level of the transcendent, because my family does not stop leveling up even during an ambush. Luo King lives through the bombs on a stack of sacred artifacts, raging, and the coalition, still convinced I can be trapped, plays its next card, and it's a good one if I were anyone else. They catch 2 traitor prodigies of the 3 worlds, Duan Kai ranked 4th and Gu Yu ranked 6th, and they turn them into bait. Plant a cursed token on each to guarantee obedience and send them to find me wearing the faces of Darksea victims. Fake wounds, fake terror. A moving story about how they barely escaped the enemy. Come quick, we know where the others are. Except I already read Duan Kai and Gu Yu's names off a dead man's soul 3 fights ago. I know they're traitors before they open their mouths. So I let them lie to me. I play the concerned rescuer, all sympathy, while I quietly open my 1,000-mile clairvoyance taboo and look past the 2 shivering actors to Luo King's whole ambush waiting in the secret realm they're steering me toward. I see the trap perfectly. And then I do the neighborly thing. I give the 2 poor traumatized traitors gifts for the road, bottles of healing pills, bottles of cultivation pills, pressed into their hands with real warmth. Under the top layer of each bottle, refined flame disciples' freshest work. They tuck my bombs into their own storage rings and thank me, and we march together toward the ambush that's meant to end me, and I have rarely been in a better mood. Deep in the battlefield, 3 Grey Temporal legacies choose that exact moment to manifest: a divine palace, a lone warrior who once stood against a million, and an empress dancing with a sword. The whole battlefield turns its head. I announce I'll go fight for the legacy, which is my excuse to walk straight into the trap with my eyes open. Kun Zion, Lai Zion, both transcendent now, Su Fei and Zio how all break away and race to back me up. Inside the middle secret realm, the jaws close. Luo King's group springs the ambush, and Duan Kai and Gu Yu drop their victim act and wound me, grinning, sure it's finally over. I drop the act too. I tell them, pleasantly, that I've known who they were the whole time, that a boy named Yu Shen told me all about them before he died. And I grab refined flame disciple and teleport us out of the kill box. And then I detonate the 100+ explosive pills I hid in the two traitors' rings, the ones they've been carrying into the heart of the ambush for me this entire time. The secret realm goes white. Duan Kai and Gu Yu, ranked 4th and 6th in all the 3 worlds, simply cease, and the whole ambush around them is caught in the fire. Kun Zion and Lai Zion arrive to mop up. Luo King and Feng Xing crawl out of the blast on their sacred artifacts, and I crush them inside an imperial array. Tian Kun, who, it turns out, had his own scheme to use me to kill his rivals, a schemer trapped in a schemer's war, survives too, and I hunt him down and array kill him with the rest. We walk out over 6 sacred artifacts and a pile of legacies. Hua Yu takes a heavenly capital emperor's body. Zio Hao takes the Xuanjing emperor's legacy. Su Fei takes one of her own. And I decline every one of them because I'm not here for the ruins. I'm here for what's waiting outside them. The ancient ruins close, and everyone spills back out onto the shore of the dark sea, and that's when the real trap springs. Not the little ambushes inside, those were appetizers. The whole thing was built for this moment, the moment my old ancestors would be standing exposed on open ground. The 12 traitor forces show their hand at last. 64 emperors of the 3 worlds, and beside them 50 emperors of the Darksea realm led by the umbral forefather himself. 114 great emperors, all at once, snapping a dimensional seal shut around me and my grandfathers. The single largest killing force the age has ever assembled, sprung on the frail old men of the wet paper sect and the dead trash disciple they came here to bury for good. They planned it for years. They should have planned it for longer, because my old ancestors had been watching them plan the whole time. A giant hand of pure darkness closes around me, and Shadow Thorn, the quietest of my grandfathers, the one who said nothing back when they decided to send me across the sea, the one who privately swore to follow me unseen the whole way, Shadow Thorn shatters that hand like glass and throws me and my sect siblings clear, flinging us through tears in space to somewhere the trap can't reach. I go spinning out over the black water, thrown too far and too hard, and somewhere back in the sect my life tablet cracks straight down the middle. To the whole world in that instant, Ling Jian dies for the 2nd time. I don't die, but I'm gone. Lost, alone, somewhere out in the dark sea, too far to see what happens next. Here's what happens next. The forbidden sect stops holding its breath. For eons it hid its true strength. It faked its own weaknesses. It let its greatest names be entered into the histories as dead, buried in empty graves, so that 100 generations of enemies would keep making the same comfortable mistake. The wet paper sect, the frail old men, the nobody disciples, right up until the single day the world worked up the nerve to try and finish it. And the coalition, standing there having just sealed 114 great emperors around 6 coughing grandfathers, has picked exactly that day. For one heartbeat the trap holds and the coalition believes it's won. Then the 6 old men straighten up, and the age comes off them like a dropped cloak, and the smiling monsters from before the world was old are standing in the ring the coalition drew. And that's before the graves open. Out of one of those empty graves walks Ancestor Wan Poison, the heavenly poison emperor. The old ancestor the traitor clans have been bragging for an age about killing, the death they engineered, the death they built half their alliance on, alive the entire time, patient the entire time, waiting for exactly this. He comes up out of the ground with 49 emperors at his back, 49 names the world also thought were dead, and the 114 who came here to commit a slaughter discover, all at once and far too late, that they were never the ones holding the knife. They were the thing on the table. It is not a battle. I keep telling you these things are never battles, and this one, the biggest of them all, is the least of a battle yet. The frenzy sovereign, 3rd generation pride of the Feng family goes down. The Azure Scale Emperor goes down. The Inferno Monarch of Crimson Flame goes down. And the umbral forefather of the Dark Sea itself, the thing that led 50 emperors across the black water certain it was here to watch a funeral, the umbral forefather is put out like a lamp. 114 of the age's strongest, sealed by their own hands in a ring with my grandfather's, and the ring they built to be inescapable does exactly what it was designed to do, only to them. The trap becomes the grave of everyone who dug it. My sect walks out over the top of the age's largest army and wipes the Bronze Pass garrisons clean on the way home. And then it does the thing that lasts longer than any killing. It drags the 12 traitor forces out into the light. In front of the entire 3 worlds, every scrying mirror, every watching palace, every ordinary person who spent this war praying for the sect, it lays out the names and the faces and the crimes. The 4 imperial clans. The 4 ancient families, Crimson Flame, linking, the Dragon Clan, the Phoenix. The clans that sold their own world to the enemy across the sea, exposed all at once, with no grave left to hide in. They crawl into seclusion, hated by everything that has a voice, their names turned into the word people spit. That's the worst ending, and my sect chose it on purpose. Death is quick and clean and over. What the forbidden sect did to the traitors instead, the 3 worlds will keep doing to them for 1,000 years. And through all of it, the world believes I'm dead. A cracked life tablet. A hero lost to the dark sea saving everyone. They mourn the trash disciple who became the sword of the 3 worlds, and they mean it, and they're wrong. Because I'm not dead. I'm just very, very far from home. I wash up alive on the far side of the dark sea, the one man that black water can't rot, because the same longevity body that was supposed to kill me at 22 now refuses to let anything else finish the job either. Alone. Behind enemy lines. Inside the Dark Sea realm itself, the very world that just spent 114 emperors trying to end my family. No sect at my back. No masters teleport. No grandfathers hidden in the rocks. Just me, an emperor-slaying sword I can't fully draw yet, a bald best friend's explosive pills, and a system that's just finished quietly updating itself into something new. The Dark Sea tries to have me the moment I land in it. A boatman pulls out of the black fog, all politeness, and I feel the thing wearing him before he gets close, something dead riding a body like a coat. I take his head and search what's left of his soul, and get my first real map of where I've washed up. Then the water itself comes for me. 3,000 ghost corpses rise up out of the deep, a transcendent one at the front, and they come across the surface like a tide with teeth. So I meet them with the emperor-slaying sword and the last of refined flame disciples' pills, and I cut a hole in the tide and walk through it. And in the middle of that fight, I learn the thing that changes everything. The dark sea's ominous power, the rot in the water, the thing riding the boatman, the fuel in the ghost corpses, it feels familiar. It feels like home. It shares its origin with the taboo skills of my own forbidden sect. The same root. The enemy across the water and the family that raised me grew out of the same buried seed a very long time ago, and nobody ever told me, and I suspect nobody left alive knows. I file that under questions that end wars, and I flee a half-saint corpse and a tsunami by teleporting, because a mystery is only worth solving if you survive to solve it. I come down in a place called the Great Wilderness. A cursed region, they tell me, anyone who leaves it turns to blood, anyone from outside rots in the mist. Every night a blood-colored fog rolls in, thick with the sea's evil, and eats whoever's caught outside. And I stand in it, perfectly fine, because the longevity body that was supposed to kill me at 22 is turning out to be the single most useful curse anyone's ever handed a man. 3 village children, Zio Bao, Zio Hai, and little Zio Feng, find the strange man the mist won't touch, and decide he must be a god. I don't correct them. It's efficient. Their village worships an earth god that answers prayers and keeps the mist back. I look at their earth god and see what it actually is, a pair of heaven-grade formations, one to defend and one to teleport, quietly siphoning every spirit stone these poor people offer it and shipping the whole harvest to someone far away. Someone's been farming this village, growing them, milking them, and calling it worship. So I do the natural thing. I reach into their earth god and reroute the whole network, and every spirit stone in the entire region starts flowing to me instead. If someone's going to farm the Great Wilderness, it's going to be the man the mist can't kill. I settle in the kind wasteland village, and because I have a sense of humor, and because the name is still warm, I introduce myself as Y Jin. The #1 prodigy I put a fist through to become #1 myself. It feels right to keep the name working. I show the villagers their earth god is a machine. I teach them what's real. And when a bully settlement called Windridge raids a neighbor for its spirit vein and drags the villagers off in chains, I walk over and end their strongman, Wu Xing, and his whole crew with one hand. Take the spirit vein. Set a gathering array so my village never has to tithe to a false god again. I let exactly 3 of the raiders run. Bait always works better when it can flee. The 3 run home and bring their gods, and the great wilderness's real overlords finally show their faces. 2 demon race deacons, Gui Lai and Gui Gao, who wipe out Windridge for its failure and come hunting for the god named Wai Jin. I meet them with a decoy and drop them both into a saint-grade array, and I search their souls, and the whole gentle picture of village life turns into something much colder. The great wilderness isn't a region, it's a farm. All 10 Darksea clans and palaces run it together. They breed the villagers, let them grow, and then slaughter them on a cycle to harvest 2 things: the spirit stones they hoard, and the blood fiend, the concentrated power wrung out of murdered innocents. Every prayer these people ever said was fattening the thing that eats them. And the farm has a guard I didn't see. A hidden demon saint soul restriction snaps shut on my mind, a killing curse from a being far above me, and for one breath I feel the thing that's supposed to be impossible. I feel myself starting to lose. And then Shadow Thorn saves my life from an ocean away. The soul imprint he sealed inside me back when I was a boy donating blood to a room full of dying old ancestors. The quiet last resort, save I forgot I was carrying, wakes up on its own and burns the demon saint's soul to nothing. My grandfather protecting me one more time from a save he planted years before either of us knew I'd need it. That's the family that threw me in the trash. That's the family I'm walking home to. But the curse breaking means my cover's blown. The whole Darksea realm knows now that Wai Jin the village god is Ling Jian the dead trash disciple, alive on their side of the water. And right as that alarm goes up, my system finishes its long, quiet update and hands me a whole new engine. No more grinding realms. Now I cultivate by lottery, 1 pull at a time, paid for in the 7 million protective value a dead man earned saving a world. So I pull. Purple, 3 minor levels, straight up, feather transcendent, 2nd stage. Blue, a full major realm, sainthood. And then before the lights even faded, blue again, another full major realm. Ancient saint. The dying nobody who was given 2 years to live becomes an ancient saint in the space of 3 breaths. Alone, behind enemy lines, with a whole hostile world just now realizing he never actually died. Far off, hidden, Shadow Thorn feels it happen and marvels, an epiphany ascension straight to sainthood, the kind of thing the histories only whisper about. The demon lord's answer arrives almost before I've finished rising. A demon saint, a demon sound, a demon array, sent to put the ghost back in its grave. The demon saint reaches me first, certain he's about to erase a stranded boy. I take his head off with 1 punch and wipe the body from the world, and I pin the other 2 where they stand. An ancient saint now, dead to the 3 worlds, mourned by the only family I've ever loved, standing in the middle of the enemy's house with their farm rerouted to my name, and their assassins in pieces at my feet. The Darksea spent 114 emperors trying to bury me, and all it managed to do was drop me somewhere new to grow. They buried the trash twice. That was their first mistake. Standing here, an ancient saint on the wrong side of their own sea, I'm starting to think it won't be their last, but it might just be the one they regret the most.